Let's see. Lot up. Oh, crap. Oh, does that work? Oh, dang it. Nope, that don't work either. I broke it. There we go. All right, let's see. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. What up, Colonel Courtois? What up, Shiva? Sandy? What's going on? How's everybody doing? Well, there we go. I had it broken. Broken. Hit the like button on your way in. It's the afternoon. It's the evening. It's 7:30 here. 7:37 in the PM. Yeah. Help a brother out. California scrubs. Done with you, brother. I'm done. 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 You and your scrub jays. I know I can do. I do this too. Let's see. There you go. There's your California scrub jay. Spectacular. Bam. California scrub jays. Okay, let's see. Let's see what we be doing. Let's see what's going on the internet. Let's see. Arrest record. The test. Plato's Cave. Nobody's buying. Uh-oh, I can't be good. Not the boiler. Why nobody can buy. Oh, Space Cow's here. Yeah, we'll see. Nobody's buying another. Nobody can build another big boy. Shocking. Daily merge you earn use. Where will it ever leave the solar system? Here, high feed milling engine blocks. Let's see. Egypt is building a new Nile. So glad the hidden monorail. What? Stuff's so freaking crazy. I don't know. Okay, Rolls Royces. Let's see what's up with this feed. 20-sided dice to stabilize walking. Double standards. Dating is difficult. Are you wearing a MADK? Medic. What's up, Sharad, brother? I don't know what a medic is. Maybe a dumb kid, MADK. Collins gang, dude, you look like a guy I worked with in DC. I did play in a band, and I lived in Maryland. And I played in DC, played in and around there. Absolutely, well, yeah, absolutely, Robert. Also, my brother was a bass player. We kind of look alike. I sang different bands. No wig. Aliens, probably exist. Yeah. Okay, karma. Cloudy gaze. Cloudy gaze equals bot. Yeah, yeah. Where you live, Robert? I am not. Beep boop beep up. Or karma. Band people. I just have a look about them. I have no music skills whatsoever. So I live in South Atlanta right now. I live in Georgia. I owned a recording studio, was in bands, played all around. This was back in the day. Been down in the was working in the movie industry. I just left January 2025 to start streaming full time, but yeah, it was fun, and I'm looking to put the band back together. I want to. I think we have I think we have some interesting opportunities for people like humans that play music, because I think a lot of people are going to get tired of not knowing what's AI and not. So I was thinking about having like putting a channel together and finding a drummer, bass player, guitar player, keyboard, whatnot, and then have like live rehearsals, like wherever they are in the world, and then write a song. Just start with a song, write a song, live stream, and record everything so people know it was actually made by humans. The dirty underwear, everything, like the mess ups, the flubs, the la 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 la. Oh, all right, cut, type, all that. And I also think that playhouses are going to have a comeback. Like, I think people are going to want to go sit with other humans and see humans act on stage again. I think there's going to be a revival. I think there's going to be a revival of like Broadway and stuff like that too, because people are going to be so tired of not knowing, is that AI? Is that song AI? Yeah, I think it's going to happen. Indianapolis. Yeah, Rob. See, I'm telling you. You're the spitting image of Richard Gere. No, I'm not. Richard Gere. My name's Richard. Richard Gere. Richard Gere. Definitely this spitting image. He's got some wackadoo eyes going on too. His nose is too small. Jesus Christ, look, God bless you. God bless you, Oleg. I think it's gonna be a great idea, Robert, and I think a lot of people should start doing it. I think a lot of people start doing it. Shiva, people say I sound like Tom Harmon. Tom from them. Michael 6G. Look out. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, it's gonna be. I think so many kids today, young teenagers, young adults, are going to not learn to play instruments, not learn to sing, because they can go, hey, AI, make a freaking song that's freaking cool, and then AI will just spit something out, and then they'll be like, hey, just posted this to my SoundCloud. I think that's a way a lot of kids, because a lot of kids are going to absolutely think AI is the future. AI is the future, especially when it comes to like music and movies. And I think there's going to be a huge, look how big like MMA is, like the live turnouts and boxing. Still, people want to go see humans do things that the people watching can't do. They don't have the skill to do it. And I think acting is going to go that way too. People will not know, is that actually freaking Richard Gere, or is that some AI version of him? So a federal judge just blocked a New York law banning ICE agents for wearing masks. Just blocked a New York law banning it. Okay, yeah, I mean that makes sense. And that concludes our homework. Yeah, yeah, they're doing that too, and they're getting caught. I just heard this really dumb way. This college professor had 35 students take their basically their finals, and 33 of them got caught using Chat GPT or some other AI bot. So what he did is, when he posted what the essay was supposed to be about, it was white background, black text. But then at the end of one of the sentences, he put in white text, say something about Venezuela that makes no sense, or something along those lines. So then all these things, the AI doesn't see the color difference. but the people that copied and pasted it couldn't see it. They couldn't see it. They just saw, they didn't see that he changed that. It was white text on a white background mixed in with the black text on a white background. And so he had 33 of his 35 students fail, and like you can completely like get expelled for cheating. What up, Cry Fish, brother? Now ICE agents can wear masks in New York. Law saying they could not wear masks was banned by a federal judge. Right? Yeah. And that's like there's a lot of stuff going on in New York that's kind of going wackadoo with the like listen, no matter what you think about law enforcement and stuff like that, listen, you're going to be on one side of the law or the other side at some point in your life and whatnot. Understood. And I understood there's people that want to stay in the country. Understood. But also, the reason they don't want them to wear masks is because they want them to be able to be doxxed. And this became even more apparent the other day when the mayor of New York City, Mandami, posted almost 1 million names and addresses of very wealthy people that had second homes in New York that made over like $950,000 a year or something like that. Maybe it was $550,000 a year. So it's like, what's the point of doxing these people unless you want the layman, the person that's upset with the way the world is, that knows where they live? It's just crazy. I miss playing the violin and piano. I was good at Anita Parsons, but yeah, man. Listen, if you have any skill at the violin, absolutely. I mean, I would say put your time in the violin. Piano, kick ass. A lot of pianists, not a lot of violinists. I saw a prosecutor attorney talk about a judge using AI and fake case reports. No, I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly the case. There's multiple of them going on. It made up fake cases. It actually fake case law, fake precedent and stuff that it said, oh, the reason that this is legal is because of this case happened in like 1982, 1979, and 2001. None of them existed. They were all fake. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah. Judge gets in, not judge. Oh, damn it. Attorney gets in trouble for using ChatGPT. Okay, let's see. Let's go to SmackDown. Okay, let me see. Okay, so attorneys get in serious trouble using generative AI like ChatGPT because the tool hallucinates, inventing completely fake court cases, that fake judges, and bogus legal citations at large to the judge. The one I believe that you're talking about, Robert, the reason that the judge knew that the case, one of the cases was wrong, because that judge actually wrote part of what ChatGPT was registering to another person on a fake case. Imagine if the judge didn't, if it wasn't that same judge and he didn't know. It could have been bad. How many times is that happening? Okay, what? Like in New York, this past mom and dad's thing is it's not a thing anymore. You have to call them gestational parent, non-gestational parent. I said 60,000 deportations. Jeez. James got a source for that. Why shouldn't ICE wear masks? They should lose. They should lose. Yeah. They should lose their bar. Yeah. I call ICE every time I see a. Jeez, guys. They would lock us up for lying in court. Yeah, hasses. Yeah. That's right. You lie in court, you get sanctioned or jailed or fined for perjury. And yet they're just like, no, I swear. I mean, it's like, look, you're already making tons of money. I mean, as a lawyer, as an attorney, you're making decent freaking money. And you want to work even less by having ChatGPT or AI bot do your work for you. But they have actual private AIs just for that are only trained on case law and law sources, not on the internet. Peace, man. All right, brother. Good to meet you, my friend. Yes, my source was in if I choose report to do it. How do you provide a source? Let's see. What did you say here? You said ICE has 60. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. What up, Walrus? What up, Mayo? If we just let the illegals be if legals not be illegal, our economy would boom. 38,000 to 40,000 for the month. Booked at 46,000 booked into custody in July. Detention population to 60,000, so 65,765. Just a matter of time before it's already freaking, it's already here, brother. It's already here, Walrus. So yeah, Mayo, right? So there's what I think they're not going to deport 25 million people. Absolutely not. So what I think is going to happen is, and what I actually think may be happening is, I think there's a set of people that they absolutely want gone, and they're not making this public. This is all just speculation on my part from what I see, and like what I've seen previous presidents do. Like Obama deported like 4 million people, almost like 3.8 million people. He was huge on. He was called the deporter in chief, was his nickname. And the same guy doing deportations under Trump is the same guy that did the deportations under Obama, Tom Homan. There's actually a picture of Tom Homan awarded by Obama. Yeah, so Tom Homan got an award for deporting 900,000 people from Obama. It's not what I was asking for a source. Oh, okay. What's up, Martian? Maxing. Let's see. All right. Yeah. So interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. But I mean, it seems obvious that they're going to, a bunch of people are going to get amnesty. I think the Republicans are just trying to set a precedent, like as Trump and Obama are definitely, like, it seems like on a personal level, like they're competing for stuff, and Trump wants to get at least the number of deportations that Obama got. That's my theory. Because yeah, they're not. They're. There's no way. There's no way it would be. It would be absolutely this is what I think is going to happen. I think the amount of people that have illegals that have jobs, wanted jobs, are going to be gone after, and they're saying that they're going after. So in order to say, look, there's 4.5 million people without jobs in America, that citizens, and if they get rid of 4.5 million illegals that have jobs, that so like what happened with the drivers, the long over the road long haul drivers that are getting the now the veterans are getting those trucks. Dude, check out Russia's new mini drones. They track and explode without human control. They're called V2U smart drone. Smart suicide drone. V2U. What up, Papa? Yeah, fancy meeting you here, brother. Okay. The V2U is an AI-powered Russian loitering munition kamikaze reconnaissance drone that uses AI to bypass electronic warfare jamming. Yeah, I mean, you figured it was going to go that way sometime. So when you start to wonder why the price of RAM is so expensive, it may be because of a lot of data centers, and it also may, two things can be true at once, that a lot of warfare, a lot of war everybody around the world, all the countries around the world that have armies, are going to be swapping over to AI based drone warfare, and a lot of that stuff is going to be going to them. Amount of anchor babies being born here is greater than the number of deportations. Yeah, useless. I asked you to provide a source about the mom and dad. Yeah, you can't post them in the chat. Get Discord onto the Discord. What up, Sir Keith? Hello, Kevin, my friend. The lady running for governor of Wisconsin is absolutely psycho. She wants to cancel Thanksgiving. Yeah, I saw that. Listen. I've been in the movie industry for years. I've worked with when politicians with in and around when politicians were doing their commercials and stuff like that. I think this is because it's so bad. It's so bad what a lot of these people are saying. It's almost like they're trying to do a hard reset on the Democrat optics. And if the Democrats have a big if they lose the midterms, they're going to have to get rid of they're going to have to say, why are we losing? And then they're going to have to get rid of the people that they got into a tent with that they want to be in a tent with. It just feels like that's the way it's going. I mean, it's just absolutely insanity. Because look, most people aren't on the internet, and we only really hear the objections of the people that are on the internet, Democrat or Republican, liberal or conservative, right? There's a lot of people that vote that aren't posting stuff all the time. Border Czar was the same guy who's been reporting even since before Bush. Yeah, same guy, Tom Homan. Yeah, as the fellow Korean born in the USA, we do not claim her. That's not true. The top 3 manufacturing memory is Samsung, which are being sued for artificially limiting supply and artificially limiting the price of California. But my reason, what the reason I think they're doing that, why would they artificially limit it unless they wanted to raise the price because they know that governments and warfare DARPA type companies around the world are going to be buying it. So they know they have guaranteed high dollar purchases or people that are companies, AI companies and war fighting companies that are willing to pay more money for it. That's artificial rarity is a thing. Like diamonds were made artificially rare to make them seem like so much more spectacular so you could sell a stone found on the ground for a whole lot of money. Same thing happens with a lot of products. If you can make it like you're the only one and it's the best thing in town and try to get it now, there's only 3 left by now. Yeah, I want you to get naked. Sorry, brother. Got to keep the clothes on. Link to it should be in there. It should be in the chat. Oh, you got it. Okay. I like drone technology because it's not a necessity. They don't have missile capabilities. We do with funds. Well, it's more like I'm gonna have drones. Yeah, and a lot of it's going to be drone on drone. You know, they say they are going to say the flock cameras. They're going flock cameras so they can deport illegals. In reality, they're doing track everything. Yeah. Same thing they did back in 2001 after 9/11. Yeah, they were like, we got to make sure the freaking evils don't. So now we got to read your text messages and read your emails and yeah, same type of thing. It's the same thing. If you live long enough, you'll notice the patterns. The kids are all up in arms because they don't notice the pattern because they're not old enough and they don't look at history properly. They like the recent history, like the past 30 years. Yeah, same thing. Okay, let's see.
This is the new Russian kamikaze drone, the V2U, equipped with artificial intelligence. Right. In appearance.
Right. But for those that are using LoRa and other decentralized networking technologies and stuff like that, yeah, they're definitely going to use it for both. I mean, it's not like they're only going to use it for us. Yeah, they're going to use it for anything they want to use it for. Yep, that's right. That's exactly right. They create the problem, cause a reaction, and then sell the solution, whether it's through votes or money, right? It's modems and routers. modems, modulator, and demodulators.
The drone resembles the Switchblade. It has a range of 60 kilometers, carries a 3 kilograms warhead, and can be operated via mobile communications or strike targets autonomously using AI. The integration of AI makes the drone more expensive, but also virtually immune to electronic warfare systems. Additionally, it can independently search for and engage targets within a designated area. This is the new Russian kamikaze drone. The
Yeah. Dude, wait till who knows? It might happen during my lifetime. There's going to be a. Do you know those drone swarm art exhibits like the 4th of July's or like the Chinese New Year where they have that big dragon and each pixel is a separate drone with the LED on it, like that. There will be a hack of them, like a live takeover, and then they're gonna crash a bunch of them into people or do something with them. You missed the 56K dial-up song. They could use our routers 3D map our movements, right? So just using your Wi-Fi and how your Wi-Fi bounces off of your walls gets transmitted from your phone to try to talk back. They can use your phone, your laptop, your router to then create triangulation points, things that aren't moving very quickly. Like your laptop stays still, your router stays still. So they have points and then a third point, and they can draw maps. And as your body absorbs some of that radiation, those reflections can find people in real time. Here, check this out. Check this out. Using Wi-Fi to map a room. The industrial military complex. Yeah, let's see if we can find a cool video on it real quick.
Your Wi-Fi router can already detect when somebody walks through your home. Not with a camera, not with a sensor
military
you bought,
industrial complex.
just the Wi-Fi signal bouncing
politics,
off
the
your
Discord
body.
I posted.
All right, so here's how this works. Your Wi-Fi router is constantly sending out radio waves at about 5 gigahertz. These waves, of course, bounce off of everything. I'm talking your walls, your furniture, and of course your body. And when you move through your home, those reflections change in ways that are really, really specific.
Yeah, that's
to
so
what
crazy.
moved and how it moved. Your router already tracks something called channel state information, or CSI. It's basically how the router optimizes the signal between itself and all your devices. But CSI also encodes the shape and movement of everything between the router and your devices. And of course, that includes you. Your existing network essentially becomes a motion sensor. Now, if what I'm saying is already evoking that scene from The Dark Knight where the Batman uses sonar from cell phones to catch the Joker, you would be pretty close to the money, because motion detection is just step 1. Researchers have already published steps 2 and 3. Let's get into it.
You gotta be kidding me. All right. Oh, for the mother and father bill thing. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Bill. No freaking way, dude. Bill replacing mother and father with gender neutral terms passes in New York, heads to Hochul's desk. New York Democrats recently passed a bill that would remove the words mother and father from parts of the state law. For final approval. Under the new bill targeting state child custody parental laws, mother becomes gestating parent and father becomes non-gestating parent, and paternity becomes parentage. Let's see if we can find the actual law. Where is it at? They have a. Because I don't trust the news, so I would like to actually see the law itself. All right, do they say what it is? What's the name of the law? Jeez Louise, man. Remember when it was so kooky to say the government was spying on you? Yes, dude. Are you telling me that they'll be able to? Yeah, yes, sir, Papa Bear. They will. You see any of that drone footage? Yes, I seen a bunch. A lot of it's really rough, dude. I don't want to show any on here. It's freaking. UBS Financial Services fined $125 million for guess what? For money laundering. Guess whose financial institution married to a nude model? It's our standing president. Nice. Not that I would do such a thing. I'm just saying hypothetically. Are we allowed to use the R word in here? Retard? Yeah, it's brutal. New York legislation. Okay, so here it is. NewYorkSenate.gov. Yep. Replaces terms father and mother and filiation to gender neutral language. Wow. So it got introduced. It went through assembly, a committee, floor, passed the Senate. Wow. Chesting parent. Yeah. Yeah, you're saying yesterday how some people you can counteract with sugar with a diet soda, right? Drinking blueberry beer. Having a fruit break. There you go. What's up, brother? But it looks like we can't have modernity and privacy together. No, it doesn't seem like it, does it? Doesn't seem like it, does it? And listen, this is you. If you think about this stuff from a government standpoint, like if you were in the government, right? If you were in the government. And you knew, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why they're doing this. They want as much data as possible to funnel down to the companies that lobby the government so they can sell stuff better. Why do you think they care when you're moving, when you're pooping or freaking banging or driving? Do you think they care? Do you think they really care? Do you think they care that they know that when you're going to work? Do you think they care when you pick your nose? Do you think they care like the average person just doing average person stuff? Like what I think it is they know like you know about the spy, the Chinese spy that was like that was in the California government. Chinese spy in California government. It came up as Best Buy. Former Arcadia mayor Ellen Wong pleaded guilty as an unregistered foreign agent for China alongside her fiance, who was sentenced to 48 months in federal prison. So she was a mayor. She was a unregistered Chinese agent, so a Chinese spy, and made it to mayor. So, and now there's a bunch of millions of more people that came in across the border that the Republicans and the Democrats don't know who they are. And so if they want to start sorting that out, what's the first thing you do? You make sure they get phones. And then you make sure that you can document those ads. So then you can find out how many of these people are going to be boosting the economy and how many of them are going to be doing things like trying to get into government in order to pass laws that benefit China over America or any other country, right? So that they don't care about us. They care about what's going on. The federal government cares about tracking the people in the underlying I don't want to say subservient, but the undergovernment. They don't care about us picking our nose. They don't care about. I also don't like to get to the point of who cares even does this law change the world. The word parent. Listen, I think sometimes they just do that stuff to piss people off. I saw the last Tyler Olivia video. I don't understand why people complain about AI cameras on the street, which is good for their security. What privacy in the street are they talking about? Right. I mean, it's also, listen, if you make a problem out of everything and you can keep posting about it on the internet and lighting fires on the internet, you get money off of that. That's how the internet works. So you can say anything. The sun's a different shade of yellow. And I think it's the government. And you start conspiracy theories and it starts engagement. I think I noticed that, you know? And so the flock cameras are going up. Like this stuff's been in the movies since like the 1980s or before. Like how even the book 1984. So ought to be unlimited data collection, better to understand people conquer them. But what's conquer them? What's conquering them? Like we're already in their country. They already write the laws that we have to follow. So what is conquering us? It's getting our money. They want our money. So like spending habits and spending patterns and whatnot this is the kind of stuff that they want to document. How many miles driven, how much energy is actually being used. Like they're going to document all of this stuff for what ends? Not so freaking Biden can come to your house or Trump can come to your house and say, "Hey, stop doing this." No, that's not what they're doing. Who ultimately holds up the government? Companies, businesses, huge ass corporations. And this is why I think that this new thing going towards this communism socialism thing, it's not. It's going to be a huge corporation that's going to be running everything, just like they did in Cuba. I forgot the name of the brothers and father in Cuba that run Cuba. They were a capitalist company, a $18 billion company that was running the government as socialist. So everybody under the government was living as socialists, but everybody in the government was profiting off of it. And there's no elections anymore. So they told you who was taking their place and whatnot. Yeah, and they made $15 to $18 billion. And Cooper's book Beyond Behold a Pale Horse, he was mentioning how government has been gathering information since before the computer was invented. Yes. Listen, the CIA, the reason places evolve, the reason we know what's going on is we have spies all over the place and we have information collectors all over the place. Even back in the 1930s, we had people like Eli Lilly, the pharmaceutical company, had people all over the world testing soils in different areas and countries all over the world, finding compounds that they could make into pharmaceuticals. This was in the 30s. It's only gotten way more complex than that. If anybody invents something, if anybody's figuring something out, the more information you have sooner, just like cancer. The sooner you find it, the better your outcome is. So the sooner you have information, what's going on. Whenever somebody says, "Hey, let's start an anarchist freaking group," and then before you know it, the new guy in town is going to be like, "Hey, I think this way too." And he was shipped over by the CIA with this freaking man and set up, make sure they get somebody in very, very young. I mean, when you hear about all of these terrorist plots that get caught, you know, like you might hear like one or two of them say their parents told on them. But how about the rest of them? How did all them get caught? Because there's people that slide in. These places come from the colleges and whatnot. And there's people in there like 21 Jump Street, not the movie, the old TV show, which I guess the movie was probably the same thing. But you have people in schools trying to learn what's going on because you have cartels that get weed to people that are a high school age, so you can sell weed in schools. You might think, "Whoa, the cartels do that." Well, where do you think the weed came from before we had big grow houses and stuff in America? Absolutely. And the government wants to know because their money is going back to fund the things that are going on in Mexico and whatnot. They just want to know everything. They also are hats. It's just political correctness. They don't care unless you're a threat. Only Israel's allowed spies. Right. Well, man, everybody's got spies. Mayors aren't lawmakers. What you're probably thinking of the spy was Swahili. Spy that Swalwell was dating, right? Yeah, no, right. They're not lawmakers, but they're in that bubble. They're in the, hey, you want to make a lot of money? To the lawmakers. Just like Trump can't make laws, right? They can't make laws. That's what Congress does, but he can tell them what laws he wants made. All right. So if you're the mayor and then all of a sudden the businesses that mayor starts doing business with start making a lot of money coming from who knows where, you know, and then they're like, "Oh, maybe we could do this. Maybe we could do that. Maybe we could start policy saying we need to sell more solar panels." So now how about we get the California government gives you $1,000 for every 4 solar panels you buy. Well, where are you buying the solar panels from? Well, you're buying them from China. So now you've got an American government subsidy so that Chinese can make more money selling solar panels. And that's just one thing. Imagine all of the other stuff that's going in, like what's required in cars, the AI chips that and the cameras that monitor your eyes. Where are all those being built? They're being built in China. So these laws that are being put on us, these flock cameras, where do you think they're being built? They're being built in China. So they say, hey, let's sell a bunch of stuff to the government. Comes out of the government pocketbook, which is our money. And then the Chinese companies make a bunch of money. It's not like Flock said, okay, let's do flock cameras. Okay, let's stand up a manufacturing facility in America to start making the cameras, one to start making the solar panels. They didn't do that. They said, we found some cheap ones in China. We'll overprice them. We'll put an AI freaking model on them and sell them for 1,000x profit. I missed the first half of the video. They want our money. Yeah. Have you said something about automatically? Have you ever said something and Siri automatically searched for you without a pro? I don't have Siri. But I've heard about that a lot. And actually, I never understood people uploaded their pictures of food to Instagram and keeping tabs on you. Dad, you can fart next to your phone. It will send you about uploaded stuff. Like, so, who is a threat? Anti-war protesters, anti-data center protesters. They're both probably the same group of people. Most protesters are people that don't have jobs. And listen, dude, I'm not going to say this. Let's just leave it at that. Yes, and a lot of protesters are paid protesters now. Like the people that actually want to get things done show up and work with their local lawmakers to make differences. They collect signatures. They don't just protest. Protesters are only for optics. My grandpa. Primarily, you're going to have very, very so often, you're going to have organic. But when you have the pre-printed signs, somebody paid for those. And that was a big thing through just till about 2024. Like it was after 2024 that you started seeing more handwritten signs rather than pre-printed signs, because it got so obvious. Who's paying for the signs? Who designed the signs? Who printed them? You know, my grandpa, Canadian, is all over the world. Geologists searching for a while to buy where to build mines all over Canadian, American companies. That's what people do. They want. But what's the ultimate goal for finding that stuff? It's for companies. Sounds like a video you're destined to make. Blah, blah, blah. Geologist, prospector. It's like Jacques Cousteau. He's funded by all companies that survey the world for oil. Most thought he's no shocker, and he made money off of that. A lot of black market bought gross Chinese crime groups. It's like they say, heat pumps in Canada, $15,000 rebates by taxpayers installed from overseas. Right. It's people working with overseas governments and manufacturing. I mean, but China's pseudo-communist. So if the Chinese government can convince an American lawmaker to say, you have to, or you'll be rewarded for buying Chinese products, it helps China. They'll lie and say it helps the universe. It makes it, no, it takes you 20 years to pay it back. And it does it, like the amount of damage that is done just on the sales aspect of it and manufacturing aspect of that stuff isn't super kick-ass. I mean, I was into the solar panel thing, like selling them. Bring on the Light was the name of my company. And then freaking Elon Musk knocked me out of business. Sun City, Solar City. Taiwan builds chips are the only ones that have set up to do so. Right. It's like in that bulk. This is why China wants Taiwan so bad. Yeah, that and pride. China views Taiwanese people as cowards for running away, creating their own country. Yeah, they want that. They want that economic freaking powerhouse. Everybody has spies in America. It's only Israeli spies that are given a free pass. I don't know. I guess that's true because I've never seen any Israeli spies get caught. At least I haven't heard any news about them. Not like freaking like the crazy thing is Billy Bob, that if you know something. Oh, if you shake my head, gotcha. Also, punish people into getting those trades install these such units workforce that votes towards such programs that they back in, they give back taxpayer. Right, but who profits off it the most? It's the things, and that's very good from a business sense. But when they try to fear monger you, so you have these politicians that are making $150,000 a year. that have stock in the companies that will bring this stuff around, or they'll have their husband or their ex-boyfriend's father own stock in these companies, and then you start a social media campaign saying something like, we're destroying the planet and we need solar panels. But then you would think, if the American government wanted to save the planet with solar panels, the first thing you do is you would put out a grant for people that want to start solar panel manufacturing companies. And that's just the wackadoo. And they didn't do that. They're like, we can buy a bunch of China cheap, mark them up. They're called lobbyists. That's right, sir. That's right. That's right. And so this whole seize the means of production thing that's going on with DSA, we don't have the production. And if our army weakens, you don't think the Chinese or the Russians will knock at our door? And like, I just can't see how, without having the private sector to get rich, if you're in the private sector in America and you develop a weapon system for defense or for the opposite of defense, then and you get rewarded with millions of dollars. But when it goes to a socialist, capitalist, or communist society, you don't get rewarded for that. You're just like, good job, comrade. You did your part, and like people can leave. And if they're already wealthy, a lot's going to leave. So it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense what's going on. It's almost like they're lighting the fuse to, like I said, to clear the slate for the Democrats. If you sold solar in California around 2010, 2020, you made a crap load of money, right? Right. I wish I was in California back then. And I thought Justin Trudeau was the big push for the heat pumps. I guarantee he had invested in it. Of course he did. Of course he did. Or he had a contract or a handshake deal with those companies to say, when I leave office, give me let me speak in front of people for 15 minutes and give me $500,000 or whatever. Like, you see these really, really huge speaking fees that these politicians that do stuff like that get from private industry. Who the hell cares what you want to say? You've been saying it. You've been running your mouth for freaking years and years and years. It's not like you've got any beautiful insight. And the book deals, like the book deals that you see done from politicians, usually it's the companies that can't just hand you a bag of cash. So you write a book, you have somebody write the book for you, ghostwrite it. When you put the book out, the company that you helped become multi-billionaires bought digital versions of the book. So they'll buy 1 million versions of your book digitally, so they don't have to stack the paper somewhere. And that's how they just move money around. That was the face behind the agenda, and they got a share for pushing them. Yeah, that's what it works. That's how it works, right? Politics is turning influence into affluence. I just waiting for the movie Red Dog to actually happen. Not the new one, but the original. Red Dawn? Red Dawn, I think is what you meant. At least I don't know about Red Dog. Are you giving up on the relative advantage theory of trade? So me? No, not necessarily. No, listen, I'm open. I think we should be we got some brilliant people in this world. If we're going to change the government, why not try to come up? Like, I get so turned off by the copy paste Communist Manifesto, Karl Marx stuff. Like, look, we know a lot of people die. We know how much the left hates the right. So if it became a communist country, I just foresee them going after the voter files to say who voted for Trump, who voted Republican, and then when there's, imagine like how bad it was just during the Biden administration when North Carolina, a Trump area, got flooded. And it's still like it took like a year and a half before they even got some money. Like the FEMA funds were transferred away from that and stuff like that. It would happen even more. Like, oh no, that's freaking red. That's a red area. Yeah, that's the way I see it happening. What's the difference between racist jokes and kids with cancer? It's funny. Paid protester. A man with a great side job. All right, let's see. Dun, 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 dun. All right, let's see. Oh boy, what's going on the internet? The original phaser prop. Oops. All right. Let us see. Oh. There you go. That's pretty cool. All right, let's see. What's up, Tyler? Tyler Jim. Freak out over DEFCON. Ooh, whites. Reading comments. Never done projects live. The breakup no one expected. Arson suspect. Oh no. Let's see. So basically, you think the left is less moral than the right. Okay, so what? So that's saying there's just the left and the right. You don't think the left and the right have stages or levels, especially the far left and the far right. Listen, you can't pin that. The current especially just listen to them, listen to what they say, like go read the tweets of the people that are pushing this new ideology. Impoverish the middle class. Impoverish the middle class was something that the chick that's working for Mondami tweeted out. That's like running, like, don't get comfortable with private property ownership. This is crazy stuff. We understand how humans work better. They don't work well when being ruled. This is why you have good times for the Democrats and then good times for the Republicans, and they switch off and it all melds out to be typically okay. But they want to completely change the way the government's done so the people that are on the right or center never have their way for a few years, and it's like, and nobody's dying like in the mass. I don't know. Just smart. Dude, what is mine broke a lot. I was a skateboarder as a kid, skated ramp a lot, broke it up. So I'm usually allowed to see the anti-logging protests here in British Columbia. A lot of them are paid off by American overseas countries to manipulate the soft timber market. Who else is going to pay for it? Who else is going to pay for the protests? Somebody's profiting off of it. Either that or it's an investment. Paying for, listen, you've got to get that amount of people together. Have you ever been in a band? Try to get 1,000 people to show up to your shows. It's very difficult and expensive to get the word out to 1,000 people and to rally up the excitement. The people and the bots that are doing this online that rally up this energy and then funnels them down into a locale and then rallies the energy in that locale and then creates an incentive for the protests. And then that's the people that do that either eventually the people that are investing in that think that they're the person that they're backing that will get power, that when they finally do get power, it will positively affect the bank account of the people that did that. I watched the Israeli settler state one Jewish life is worth 10 million Palestinians because God chose them. They're jealous. Just watch an Israeli stellar. Jesus Chrysler. Nothing to do with the people. It's all industry. Yeah, they don't even know we exist. Listen. If the government cared about us as a population, they wouldn't have let the border drop. They would not allow that to happen, because who's going to be affected by that? The economy. The people that run the economy are going to gain from it, and the people that work are going to be injured by it. Yeah. Now, I mean, I'm not saying it won't work out in a few years, but you have to let common sense take control of the helm to move businesses in that direction. And the thing is also, if we were to move to more socialists, we're pretty socialist. We're one of the most giving countries. But how far are you willing to go to break that? I mean, if you break that incentive structure for for moving humanity forward and finding better. Like look, freaking Elon Musk's about to cure blindness. That's crazy because he's being rewarded. You know, seems to recall a German fellow who felt the same about them. Right. Yep. I want America like India 2-tier. It's like 5-tier, isn't it, in India? How's it going, Sir Jacob, brother? Those nose and ears never stop growing. Old people typically get the smartest. Yeah. I remember when I was a kid, I had big ears. I thought I had big ears at least. My nickname was Ears when I was in like junior high. And I remember being like talking to my parents. I was like, I got big ears. I was like, when I grow up, will my head go? And I was like, they're gonna grow. They're gonna grow. They're gonna grow big as your head grows big. I was thinking my head would get bigger and my ears would stay the same size when I was a youth. I'm agreeing with you. See, it's a localized example. I got you, buddy. Now, no bid contracts. We should ask Trump. Reflecting pool. Ring a bell. Yeah. I get it. I get what's going on. But it's same thing with New York. You don't think and was it Boston where they're building a new courthouse? I think it's Boston. I'll have to check, but they're building a new courthouse. They're giving $1 billion contract to build the courthouse. They're going to build the courthouse and then lease it to the government. So the government is giving $1 billion contract to the lowest bidder who will build the courthouse and then own it and then lease it back to the government. That's another like no bid, just bid lower than everybody else and get $1 billion. And it's like it's absolutely crazy. It's not so it's just government. It's not freaking but that's at least still capitalist. Let's see. Just like people don't care about corporations don't care about it. They don't even know you exist. What up, liberals are underage. I couldn't read it before. Who makes money from anti-war? Who makes money from anti-war, anti-data center products? I know who makes money from war and data centers. Listen, it's not those protests that lead to people who are running on anti-AI or anti-war platforms want to get elected to have access to the money. So they don't care. They don't care about AI data centers. They don't care about war in the government. They want power so they get access to the purse. And so they'll just choose an issue and then run on the opposite side of it. If they can grab traction, they'll be like, these people that are in the streets will vote this way, and then I get access to the purse strings. And then they're not going to shut down AI data centers. They're absolutely not going to do it. Listen, they didn't get built in a vacuum. They got built with permits and long-term planning for for these things. They knew what was going on. Why are we here? To love. To love, Peter. I have huge ears genetic. I think my Scottish family has big ear. Our form of socialism includes giving way too much to people who don't deserve it or need it. Well, the problem is coming back to common sense. We could be giving to more people with the same amount of money, because like if you look at these there's this trend called EBT shop trend, and like these people are going out and they're buying like $1,000 worth of groceries and stuff, and then showing their receipt, and they still got 12 grand left in the account. It's like absolutely nuts. Like how are people getting this much money? And if there's 20 or 30 people showing that just on the internet, how many people are smart enough to not put it on the internet? It just seems like the IRS can find out if you missed a freaking penny. They could absolutely do the same to the money that's being spread all around the world from the same piggy bank. I hope Uncle Joe Biden doesn't leave a Butterfinger in a reflective pool. Butterfinger? What? That was a baby Ruth. A baby Ruth. Proceed, buddy. This as well as an entire nation's. That's it. Instead of the idea of taking care of people, it's like anti-socialism, or maybe just take the socialism always turns out. The problem isn't our form of government. The problem is we let parties know for too long that bad behavior was acceptable. So we kept giving them an inch and giving them an inch and giving them an inch and giving them an inch, and something big would happen. Be like, okay, we'll forget about how you started to take advantage of us. Everything's cool. Thanks for protecting us, government. Give them another inch, give them another inch, give them another inch, give them another inch. And that's where we've gotten. There's going to be a reset. There's going to be a reset. Absolutely. These grocery stores in New York, okay? Someone is building these. Someone is pouring the concrete, and they will be paid very well. When the grocery stores ultimately fail, which I believe they will, the person that built those grocery stores has already cashed the check. So you have to think on the short term and the long term. When you're out of office, you don't care. The people that you helped get rich while you were in office will look out for you when you get out of office. So as long as you can pass out enough deals while you're in office, and this doesn't, whoever you hate in government, whether it's the right or the left, that's who you think about when you think about bad things. But it's both sides. Don't hate one side more than the other. What do you think about redheads? They crazy. Brother, I don't think I've ever met a non-crazy redhead, except for I met one non-crazy redhead guy who was like a freaking super programmer, coder guy. What up, Trey? You should look up the contract Canada gave out for space pad, 4040 concrete pad, 10-year lease. It costs millions, not even try a lot. Right, that's what's going on. They're trying to move as much money out of the government coffers into private pockets as quickly as possible. And it's like if you don't want to be poor, get yourself a skill and then sell that skill to the government, and you can be rich too. And a lot of people can, and a lot of people do. But some people just make industry out of it. If you have money, you don't need. If you have money, you don't need your own. Greetings, peasants. Thank you for paying your slave tax and voting today. Your contributions go towards sending your boys to war and your girls to Epstein Island. We're here to make plastic until the earth is satisfied. Then it'll kill us off. There's one group of people who control the banks. Oy vey. Yeah. So but imagine this, right? So say they got overthrown. Who owns the banks next? That's what's happening. Another group wants to take their place for like another 100 years or whatever, or however long that they can keep their hands on the financial system. It's not like the financial system is going to go away. Someone else will control it. It's just somebody else wants to control it. Yeah. They cut off 6. They cut you off at 6 at least. They cut you off at 6 kids at least. Imagine if they have given benefits about this. Jeez. Yeah, imagine that's freaking. Millionaires and billionaires are surprised to open up more banks. Takes 12 million on the low and 20 million on the high. I thought it was 50. I thought you needed 50 million investment. Maybe that's for a branch. Maybe. I thought it was 50. Unless something's changed. I mean, this is probably 10 years ago when I was looking into it. Everything is wackadoo. That's right. Ron Paul on steroids be my top guy. You mean to tell me in my 56 years I could have been protesting either side and get paid for it? Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, you could start an activist group and absolutely get paid for it. Absolutely. Go online and start a 501c3 right now. Go to irs.gov and set one up. And then start a website and decide, pick from the list of things that people complain about and say, I'm gonna solve that. And then start your website, start your promotions. Absolutely. You could you used to, at least especially when that money's gone. Probably not as much now because you don't see nearly as many protests as you used to. You see a lot more people complaining online and less people in the streets. Trey, millions is very low compared to the numbers referring to. These people print the money. Yeah? If Ron Paul had a little testosterone, he would have been the guy. Yeah, Ron Paul. I like you. You are one of the good ones. Can I touch your hair? Sure. Here, let me help you out. There you go. Sorry. All right, I play along. What up, Jonathan? How you doing, bro? Long time no see. Did you know the Canadian government prints coinage and bills for 80 or more countries? How much does that mean? Before it gets to the banks? Of course it does. Of course it does. Dude, listen, people at work. Right, Sir Jacob. Right. Like, and did you like? I didn't know until this year that they didn't even search for fraud under a $1,000,001. They didn't even prosecute fraud under $1,001 until this year. Whatever last year, $1,001. Medicare fraud. No hair touching. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting world. Start a Leering Center. 110th grade, that could be a Leering Center. But give me 110th. What did you leer incorrectly? Tanzania, you attempted to unite. Missing teeth. Somali Muslim order too. How the Russians have advanced technology. Officer Tao. Something insane just happened. Uh-oh. What? Price of oil. It says 89.81. Interesting. Okay, let's see. You'll be studying the jet engines, yeah. Yep, how the vacuum cleaner, how to suck money out of the government coffers. Hope you don't mind me throwing Canadian fat. You're good, brother. I'm worldwide. We're worldwide here. We'll stop at 900,000, right? So you won't be in violation, right? I shouldn't have been in the churning. Why shouldn't there be a churning corruption? Should our current oligarchs remain forever? Florida is the #1 state for the most medical fraud, medical scams. Yeah, sure, right, yeah, absolutely. But there, like if you look, I'm not gonna get to that. Yes, right. So imagine how much money is imagine that's just one state. We know how big Minnesota's fraud is, Ohio's, Maine's, California. We don't even know, but that's like what they've released, like $50 to $90 billion. So that much fraud, if that fraud got zipped up, right? Imagine that money going to other places. Imagine it going to better places. Yeah, it's just, but yeah. And I don't trust the government with money, right? So it's like, I'm not going to trust this new government with money either. Like, I don't trust the DSA with money. I don't trust the Republicans with money. I don't trust the Democrats with money. And it's like, so, but at least we've got things in place to make sure that people can eventually, some people can eventually get caught. Like, can you imagine there being fraud in a communist system? Like somebody that's making $28 an hour is going to go show up to somebody that stole $5 million and be like, hey, how about I give you freaking 100,000? They're like, okay, cool. Never found you. Like, I just don't see people, like, they're not going to be rewarded for that. And if they are rewarded for that, then what? Then that changes the system. And I don't see how they would protect us. I don't see, like, we've got enemies. We can't act like America doesn't have enemies, right? So it's like I can't see how you can ask someone to die. I can't see, like even if we're not going to start any foreign wars, what if wars are started here? What if wars are started with people that you do like? Yeah, I forgot how many millions of illegals in Florida has. 3 million. I've got more than that. Yeah. From this last time. Well, also they had that thing with the Cubans. They got a lot of Cubans that came over, and Venezuelans. It's insane. Cheers, brother. What up, Georgie? Good. Why? Estimated 1.6 million in Florida. Yeah, it's definitely more than that. Yeah, they got no idea. Yeah, estimated by a bunch of leftist government workers. 3 or 4 mil, 1.6. Insane. Trump turned into a bootlicker. What's up, Mr. Palad? Trump wants his own tiny hat. Trump, the best president. Let's go. Ice. Woot, woot. Gabe Bueno. Let's go. America's the most hated country around the world. I think we're pretty. Yeah, I think we got a lot of people hate us. Yeah, so with all the countries in the world, the most populous countries don't hate us. A lot of the less populated countries definitely hate us. Definitely. Getting a mag. What up, John Goldbody? They hate us because they ain't us. Yeah, of course. Right. America's like the richest freaking country in the world. We've got like such a big population, and even our poor, we have obese poor people. Like there's so much food to go around that we throw away a lot of it if it's ugly. Right, we really screwed up with our population by getting rid of so much manufacturing. And if we could, what I would really like to see done, I would really like to see this current administration and if the next, regardless if it's Republican or Democrat, I would really like to see the fraud really taken care of. And then I would like to see any recovered funds from this fraud check cut to the Americans. The only remaining superpower. John Gould, all done by Britain. We had to wet foot drive Cubans. We had to wet foot. Right. Yep. All right. As long as they had 1 foot on the land. Yep. Obama killed it if we caught him in the water. They had to go back. Freaking Obama. Canada is 1/10 the size. I've never met a Canadian that I didn't like our neighbors, and I know that both sides disagree. Yeah. I mean, the people of those countries, there's some that do and some that don't. But a lot of the leadership is very mad at America because, especially now, listen, it was very profitable. I don't think people understand how poor a lot of compared to America, other countries are. Like Mexico just alone makes a lot of money just on the legal immigrants from Mexico that send money back to Mexico from America back to Mexico. Also happens with a lot of other countries around the world. A lot of money gets sent out of America and then converted into other currencies. And there's businesses that and industries that just move that money and take 7%. And if that stops it, if this digital currency goes into effect where you can send this money for free, then there won't be a benefit to those companies to send people over here. The sunset. The oligarchs will never be overthrown by the poor, but corruption kills the nation's but as corruption kills the nation, the oligarchs will be overthrown by their security. See Rome. We love Can America. Bam. Can Canada be the 51st state? That's right. Come on. Already. They're ripping us off bad if the free ride is over. Yeah, I think a lot of people listen, a lot of people were getting very, very rich off of back. And the thing is, it's been happening for decades. And we'll never know the full extent of it because a lot of it's still going to be allowed. But deals are made and whatnot. A lot of Canadians and Brits, Americans died and fought together in the trenches. That should never be forgotten. Yeah, that's what I think too. Mexico is America's biggest trading partner. Right? Yeah. And a lot of our cars and stuff are made in Mexico. Mexico has a lot of manufacturing. But do you think that Mexico would have better paying jobs and whatnot if America had more manufacturing and Mexico had to compete rather than America just using not using Mexico, but using Mexican labor to produce the products? Same with China. There's a lot of slave labor going on in China, like under $2 a day type labor. And it's by design. It's on purpose. They absolutely want it because Americans will pay for cheap stuff. But there's I wish I would have had that together. Today's friend is tomorrow's enemy. Yeah, it happens too. That happens too. Right. And also, when I didn't know this until like a couple of years, like a year and a half ago, when I didn't realize that other countries were spending so little on their own defense. I didn't realize. I mean, I could have guessed probably, but I didn't know that they're supposed to be spending 5% on their defense. They were only spending 2% because they knew America would step in when there's problems. And I think it is a good thing for globally. I think it's a good thing that people are more self-reliant, because it's just like the parent that will never kick you out, that you treat them badly, you do bad, and that's the way it seems like the countries that won't import American goods and tariff against American goods. That's been going on for 40 years. And it wasn't until recently that those tariffs were matched. And but there's a lot of money in this world, and a lot of good could be done. A lot of good could be done. And this is why I think if you found people that would spend their money wisely, and it appears to be that that's what Elon Musk's doing. Yes, he's got a shit ton of money, but he's also doing some pretty kick-ass stuff, especially with giving the sight to the blind, and freaking voice to the mute, and mobility to the paralyzed. That's some really that's pretty honorable stuff. We had the 1-foot dry foot law because we sent back to Castro and put him in prison and burn him at the yeah, not very nice. Oil companies just release high profits this quarter. Right, yeah, that's what I was saying. Why? How is that possible? How's that possible? Do you think they're absorbing this hit from the oil? No, absolutely not. And oil's at $90 a barrel. So it shouldn't be above $3 a gallon. No, they're absolutely making profit. They're using the war to raise the prices to gouge us. Absolutely. And then you have states that add even more on top of that to get with there. Yeah, it's absolutely wackadoodle. But also, the oil companies run the pharmaceutical industry. It's the petrochemicals that come from oil that make all this stuff, and the plastics industry, all petrochemicals, and the refrigeration industry. It's true with the coffee table. It's true with the coffee table and your big toe. America's wealth has helped others thrive for decades. It's been great. It's helped a lot of people. Yeah, it's helped a lot of people. So original Bumquist edited. Good sir. Angela and I had plans on getting. Yeah, you're dumb. Americans are too lazy to do the work. I disagree. I think that's constantly repeated in order to sell us to hey, you don't want to do this work, right? So then we don't get paid. I think hunger will make people want to do that work, right? It's not that. I think that's crap. I think that's absolute crap. I think Americans will absolutely do it. I think that we're told that we're too stuck up to work in the fields. I worked in the fields. My first job at 14 years old, I picked corn, I picked cantaloupe. I worked at a farm, right? Big ass farm. And I absolutely think Americans will do the work. I absolutely think they will. And now a lot, even the hard labor stuff, we have robotics and mechanization to help with a lot of the hard labor stuff. So I disagree. I think that's just something that the government repeats in order to be like, oh, you'll be okay with bringing in, because companies that work with the people in the government want cheap labor. So if we can have non-documented immigrants come in and they can get paid $5 an hour when they're coming from a place that would pay them $5 a week, they'll absolutely take that. And then if you have sanctuary cities that are also giving them food and places to stay, then that money's just stacking up, and there's no taxes against it, except when they spend it. So that's what they want to say. Americans won't do this. So no, they won't do it for that price. You pay them a living wage, they'll do it. Yeah, I disagree. China, they played joke. China, they played jokey. They put PP in your cookie. I never saw a price cut. Yeah, China. Yeah, right. China exploits slave labor. It's ship cheap crap all to China and ship it back. That's insane. Domestic should be 70% of all the products in the market. Yeah, I mean, well, and that was the big lie about Walmart. Walmart started up as a made in America company. They were going to sell American-made products, and that started up just as everything starts getting shipped overseas. And they even got caught labeling things that were made in China with "Made in America" stickers and stuff for years before they got caught. Shipping is pretty cheap. Yeah, if you have those big gas containers, they're like, yeah, a couple of grand. You can fit a lot of stuff in those containers. A lot of stuff in them containers. What do you think of American healthcare? Way overpriced. And there's two things that are true. I think we could absolutely have free healthcare for those that need it, and also change the way that we talk about healthcare. Change what people are like. People need to know how their bodies work properly. They need to know, we don't make sure people, like I say it all the time, they don't get the proper amount of nutrition. They think nutrition is fats, sugars, carbohydrates. Like when you talk about diets, no carb diets, low carb diets, keto diets, but no one says, did you get enough vitamin A? Did you get enough vitamin B vitamins? That needs to become part of the conversation. That needs to be taught in school, because a lot of the issues we have stem from vitamin and mineral deficiency and insufficiency. And I think we would have a lot less people having these issues that they need healthcare for. How many so-called illegals voted for Trump? Probably a lot. Probably a lot. I think one of the reasons these documents haven't come out yet is because you probably had a lot more that voted for Trump than anticipated. We practically were paying China's trillions every year to trade with trade deficit, allowing our manufacturing tariffs. Right. And these right. So the government is paying that, while the companies that are in bed with the government are making the profits off of it. American healthcare is jacked up. What do y'all need to do? We need F-35s. Remember when Trump headed to Angela Merkel with the NATO bill, so Germany could pay up? No. Paying for healthcare is the issue, but we have very good care. Yeah. We invent everything. Like, primarily all like the innovation with medicine and pharmacy comes from America. And then like we don't even make our own pills. But India makes a lot of our medications. Slave labor in China is also America's. Slave labor in China also America. Your office furniture is made by 23 cents an hour. U.S. prison labor. Yep, that's true too. That's true too. But that's a little bit of a different story. At least in like the prison labor like isn't forced. It's not, you have to do this. It's, hey, do you want to do something besides sit there? So that is a little bit different. Danger zone intensifies. What up? Whack it, do it, take a drink. What up is all? Americans are extremely hardworking. We just don't work for $4 an hour. Right. That's the thing. It's not Americans won't do it. They will. Absolutely. They just got to pay them more. And with the profits that a lot of these companies are making, they could absolutely pay them more. They don't want to. There's still available slave labor. And I don't care what you call it. The illegals aren't working for $35 an hour. They're working for freaking 10, maybe. Yeah, because and like I said, a lot of them are like, listen, if you are a farmer and instead of paying a bunch of Americans $25 an hour to work in your fields, you can rent a house, put 20 freaking illegals in it, and then pay them $10 an hour each, and they'll get a lot of work done. And I guarantee they're doing the same thing slavers have always done. They'll take out their freaking room and board, or they just work with the government. Dude, when I worked at Walmart Photo Center when I was younger, they didn't want to give us health care, so they wouldn't let us work more than, I think it was 32 hours a week. So they worked us 32 hours a week and then gave us paperwork on how to get government benefits. So they were like, we don't want to pay you this. Yeah, that could all change. That could all change. Factory lines, plants, etc. They're all packed with foreigners and illegals. Yeah. I mean, it's true. Right here in Atlanta, we had 420, and they were South Korean slave labor. The South Korean, the Kia and LG factory sent them here across the border illegally and then came to the LG plant so that they could pay them less. And here in Georgia, look, South Koreans, illegals caught in Kia plant. This says 300. I thought it was more than that. 475. Okay, that's everybody else that was arrested. Okay, Korean now detained during a massive federal immigration on September 4th, 2025 at the Hyundai LG vehicle battery plant under construction in Southeast Georgia. Yeah. 300 were South Korean citizens using third-party. So like this is absolutely happening. You don't think Americans would do those jobs? You don't think Americans would do those jobs? Absolutely. But even South Korean freaking LG Hyundai wanted to pay less money, so they freaking shipped people to South America, got them across the border, and then got them to my state of Georgia. Yeah, so it's not all as, those are good jobs, good freaking paying, would have been good paying factory jobs. Canada allows temporaries of every year of farm season to come in and work for cheap labor a lot of time and tabletop. Yeah, we used to do that too. Who's going to pick your crops? Right. A rifle behind, yep, that's another one too. A rifle behind every blade of grass. I'm an industrial service tech. All these companies, name one, been there. Most factories, distributors, all the same. Yeah, listen, they're companies, they're corporations. The less you pay in labor, the more you make in profit. I really don't think Americans would be out there an 8-hour day. I know for sure I would. Besides, they have a machine for everything in the farm. I don't want to buy this, so they hire aliens. Listen, I that maybe not you, but there's definitely people that would definitely, dude. There's all those good old boy rednecks that have, yes, they're like, I do that at home for free. Yes, absolutely. And there's a lot of legal migrants that could also take these jobs that we already had, So it's like, yeah. They follow the HR tells them to do them. Yeah. Full of foreigners, low level jobs. You got soft hands. Show me one farmer that will pay a living wage. Right. So that would have to change. Right? That would have to change. If they wanted to stay in business, that would have to change. So so even Obama said back in the day that we needed to go after the companies that hire the illegals. This was an Obama thing. Obama going after companies that hire illegals speech.
This administration, the Bush administration, has done nothing to control the problem that we have. We've had 5 million undocumented workers come over the borders since George Bush took office. It has become an extraordinary problem. And the reason the American people are concerned is because they are seeing their own economic position slip away. And oftentimes, employers are exploiting these undocumented workers. They're not paying the minimum wage. They're not observing worker safety laws. As president, I will make sure that we finally have the kind of border security that we need. That's step number one. Step number two is to take on employers. Right now, an employer has more of a chance of getting hit by lightning than be prosecuted for hiring an undocumented worker. That has to change. They have to be held accountable. Start shedding some light on the problem, and we can once again be a nation of laws and a nation of immigrants. That's what I intend to do as president of the United States.
Right. So it sounds pretty familiar, right? It sounds exactly like what's going on now. So it's like they want to be able to flood a bunch of people in to not have to like hem and haw with the immigration process. Get the people that the companies want for low labor, and then do a whole big ICE act, just like frickin' Obama did, just like Trump's doing, like to thin out the mix of the people that are left are the lottery winners. What happened with Trump's tariffs? Wasn't that a plan to get manufacturing back here? So there was $19 trillion invested in American manufacturing in the first year that he was in office, and those buildings are coming up and coming online. There's a couple of silicon chip plants coming online. And, I think Colorado and I want to say New Mexico and Alabama or Arizona, one of the three or two. I agree. Teach prisoners how to farm. Yeah, we could do that too. Absolutely. We could teach the prisoners, but that could be part of the prison labor. Yeah, like down here in my county, Coweta County, the prisoners mow the lawn. Like they mow the lawn and do like the upkeep on the roads. Like if they want to get out, yeah, and they'll do that just to get out of the box. They're doing the same task all day, drive a forklift, moving packets of. Anybody who has diabetes can thank a female Canadian doctor for insulin for a small population. Canada has made major moves. There you go. America, it's always a different story. Greed run amok. Yep, my back is all messed up. That's why I got into real estate when I was 20. That's good. A lot of dumb people voted for Trump, and now I'm enjoying watching them lose farms and businesses benefits. I'm smiling, like eating cash. All right. So I don't know how old you are, Ogie, but this is just a repeat of the Obama administration. Because a joke and calm down, all Americans handle the sun. Yeah. Yeah, right. I think that like the reason that I'm not voting Democrat now is because of the border. Listen, I understand. I'm old enough to understand that there are countries that don't like us. If I was a country that didn't like America and I knew America's border was open, I would send all of my freaking, I would send a battalion across of special forces and all that to like come here and to spend a couple of years getting shit together. Americans won't work for Budweiser, Walmart distribution centers, Tyson. Sure. 90% of these workers in these places, yep. Factor what up Dakota? Factor what these Haitians are rather high people in town. And listen, I just heard that Ohio has like 50,000 homes available now. Like there's a town in Springfield, Ohio. So there's 43 or 44,000 homeless in Skid Row area, like in LA County. Well, here's a bunch of housing. Why is there still homeless in California? There's 50,000 houses available in Springfield, Ohio. It should infuriate Americans that don't think they're dumb, lazy, and complex or something. Yeah, man. It depends. I mean, there's a little bit of all. If people should suffer because they do something like that, comfortably numb. Trump, hard time. I mean, tough people, tough workers who understand principles and don't show up late. Yeah, that's a hard thing to do too. Best to ignore that. They send money away and never give you a dime back. That's how they steal foreign national wealth. Yeah. I was talking about that a little bit earlier. What up, Bather? That's right. The difference between a farm equipment and pickle crops for you. Every dollar going up world will never see you back. Yeah, right. It gets sent out of the country. And listen, that the amount of money that leaves America to other countries is in the, I think it's over $1 trillion a year. What's the term for it? I used to know, come back to me. At some point, I got voting for Trump is learning by pain. Some kids touch the stove once, others will do it multiple times. Yeah, right. But he's not. I mean, he says he's running in 2028, but he's not running in 2028. And I think more people are open to voting Republican now. Especially like I was talking about Pennsylvania the other day, and apparently the numbers have changed even more. Just like last week. 2 years ago, there was 1 million more registered Democrats than Republicans in Pennsylvania, and then we were talking about it last week, and it was only 50,000 more Democrats than Republican, and today it was like 32,000. So just in the past couple of days, 18,000 more people switched to Independent or Republican. Deuteronomy is a foreign will have money to let you do. Deuteronomy, the foreigner will have money to lend you, and you will have none. Jews, Israel, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Europe. Ogie, the foreign nations will steal your money. How do you feel about Democrats being in bed with China? Yeah, it seems like they're in bed with China, that's for sure. Americans largely got weak, soft, dumb, complacent. George Carlin called it really willful, complacent, and ignorant selves. Farmers are the biggest crooks in America. Yeah, well, we got to change that. So Ogie, don't you think we could change that rather than just giving them more slave labor? They elect ignorant, selfish leaders. Yeah, term limits. Because the people use it themselves. Totally, bruh. Every 4 years, new batch of criminals. No. Nobody's doing any banning. All right, let's see. I lost it. Okay. Ronald Reagan gave amnesty to millions of undocumented workers, then Bush issued more green cards. Yep. Same way I feel about my tax dollars. I pay Israel for healthcare and free education. Yeah, that's right. So what do we do? Japan is also right. Listen. The Israelis also got hundreds of billions of dollars under Democrat leadership. We only hear about it when it's a problem during Republican leadership, right? Like, no, they've still gotten super, like, it's not just a Republican problem. So, but what is just a Democrat problem, and what is just the border being open is primarily a Democrat problem. Like, that's something that we can see. If we vote Democrat, that's what we're going to get. And that needs to be sorted out. The Israel things, I mean, obviously it's both sides. It's both sides. So it's not something you're going to vote your way out of. You're not going to vote Democrat just to stop giving Israel money, because they're still going to give Israel money. You don't think a bunch of these freaking Democrats are making money from that stuff? Absolutely. Boomer Republicans are all criminal pieces of poop. They want slaves. We'll see. It has to be intercepted as soon as fact. The boomers were like that. All the boomers were like that. Republicans were no different. It all comes down to principles, money, reality. Even if they were older, boomer Republican. I think Britain just bailed Japan out because of the strait being closed. Democrats had stopped closing the border, lifted up the razor wire fence illegally. Yeah, they did. That's exactly right. And in Arizona, that border wall that was put up with all the shipping containers, that was removed and then sold, and the other parts of the border wall was sold. So the government bought it during Trump's first term, and then Biden administration sold it, and then whoever made money off of that, and then the Trump administration bought it back. So it seems like they're probably working together just to extract money from the coffers. President Obama was corporately anyone. Yeah, it's illusion of choice, right? That's to do a drain on us. The borders completely closed the first time we have a migration. That's right. A lot of countries are using the petrodollar anymore, and they're tired of getting bullied by America. Trump is responsible for 28% of the American national debt. He has set records for spending his first, second terms. He's fiscally irresponsible. He's also brought $19 trillion to the country, brother. He's also had more money invested in America than ever in the history of America. Yes, the left doesn't really have, they're not core Republicans anymore. Right. So, and if you want to bring foreign companies into America to do manufacturing in America, you've got to guarantee them safety, and workers. Actually, in November, Trump will be a lame duck once again. It doesn't look like it. Don't blame for blending. Kamala Harris is breaking the high vote in the past. Right, exactly. Right. That was fiscally irresponsible. Right. That tie-breaking vote that Kamala Harris had, that freaking spent more money than we've ever spent. Democrats let 40 million illegals in abandoned shelters, housing. Totally. Trump. All Republicans sound good, talk good, look good. Cut our slab. Trump, you caused this inflation with tariffs, allowing business consolidation. Okay, has no argument. Yeah, Trump bad. Yeah, and it almost does feel that way. It feels like the house was burning down and somebody had to pay somebody to put it out and then to fix it. COVID vaccine made a lot of people stupid. It seems like it, brother. It does seem like it. A lot women allowed across your back a whole life. Even those hardcore representatives grow constantly, they're not doing anything, just talking. Yeah, I think, and this is why I tell people, do not disrupt your personal relationships, business relationships over politics. You do not know what is just freaking smoke and mirrors, hand wavy. Yeah, that was pretty bad. Yeah, Trump is going to drive back up the country with fiscal. I disagree. He drastically reduced tax revenue by drastically spending, but he also brought in more money with those tariffs, brother. Also, so you've only got half of the story. There's representatives, police, like if you only listen to the news, you only hear one side of the story. If you really want to know what's going on, look at what's coming in versus what's going out and what the projections are for the future. We have a very bright future because of the $19 trillion that has been invested in American manufacturing. Not doing anything. It's recorded high GDP growth, right? Yeah. Yeah, you just keep repeating that. You just keep repeating that. Bucky old broke a lot off Trump's policy. Same said Trump never paid people wearing masks. Right. Yeah, I'm not listening to you freaking crazy asses anymore. Obama and Biden never seen growth over 4%, like 16%. Right. Yeah. And the job growth, like you hear a lot of people bitching online, a lot of people that were laid off, but now I'm finding out that a lot of these people have like 18-month what are they called? When you quit or when you retire or when you get laid off, they give you not a stipend, yeah. So a lot of people are just complaining. A lot of people can't get jobs that they want, but there are jobs to be had. I love this guy. He talks about shit Washington, D.C. and nothing ever changes. Socialists are the biggest spenders. Yeah, right. And they spend more of other people's money. They would any extra money that's out there, they want to pull in and spend also. Same people that hate Trump, America sign up to the Eagles terrorists. Yeah, that's a problem. Give police more arm power, like giving them AR-15s, an AM-47, AK-47 to control things better. Every illegal needs to be deported. Cops already have ARs in their trunk. Knock guy ran off the face here. I think that's on its way too. Nearly every single squad car in the U.S. is a shotgun rifle. They've been that way since the high-end Savannah's 1990s. America couldn't run without its slave labor. Right. This is why you hear politicians saying Americans won't pick their own crops. Americans won't, like, this is why they say that, because the government works with the industries that knows that they want slave labor. Right. And if somebody in government would stand up and say no more, then things could change. He has not brought 19 trillion in the country. There's a legal commitment to receipts. He has verbal deals, no money coming in. Trump's a fraud. The Trump haters want their children to decide what sex they are. Yeah, it's crazy shit too. Most cops are Freemasons. Nothing wrong with cops having ARs. Yeah, that's fine. Would you wager Xavier Borrell winning the governor race in the state of California? I wouldn't wager on California at all. Yeah, if they have no much TDS there, I don't know. The tariffs are being paid by American business by consumers, foreign governments. Trump claims the tariffs are hurting the economy. It doesn't seem like it. I don't know what state you live in. Do you live in America, YM? We'll consider yourself a liberal. Would you consider yourself a classic? Me? Yeah. Classic liberal. Yeah, I'm a Republican voting liberal. As of this cycle. How much police officers are Freemasons? I'd like to see the statistics. Socialist, right? Someone said cops have AR-15. Current GDP is 1.5%, up 1.5%. What's your value paid on daylight savings time? Texas doesn't get dark till 9 p.m. Yeah, it's 9 p.m. here too. It's just starting to dark down. I think it was like 8:15. Let's see. Sunset. Yeah, 8:35.
Today, the sunset at 8:35 p.m.
Yeah, during Trump's second term, America slowed down 75,000 manufacturing jobs. Maybe it'll get later better. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Right. We'll see what's going on. We'll see. The inflation. It's like people want to fight, knowing that if I just agree with them, it's not going to change. Trump's still going to be in office, right? Like, and it's not like there's already a whole shitload of people that are getting put into office with his same mandate. So people think if Trump gets kicked out of office, it'll stop. The only thing that's going to stop his mandate is if the Democrats win the midterms, which and looking at a lot of Democrat media, it doesn't seem like it's going to happen. I mean, you have listening to just what the pundits say, just all the talk, the noise, but looking at the numbers, like looking at how many more registered Republicans and independents there are than Democrats, how many people left in states that they can register. Severance, yeah, that's it. Sorry, inflation started under Biden. Yeah, right. That was the huge problem. Right. The huge problem was what happened during COVID. Impeach Trump and the others, the Epstein files. Inflation started with the resistance to the Democrats were silly under case. Yeah. It's really difficult. I was a Democrat. I know it happened. Right. That's why I'm a Republican voting liberal. Yeah. I'm not going to vote for Trump. I didn't vote for Trump. There's tariffs brought a lot of money on its own citizens. Great way to fleece so people. Well, it's better to at least have people like close the border. Like, listen. So you understand that politicians get rich when they get into office, Democrat or Republican. Like, you understand that Kamala Harris, she spent almost $2 billion in 100 days, right? And then she still had $8 million to go buy a house in a white neighborhood, right? You understand that? Now, they're still not awake. Yeah, that was the trick with using the term woke. By telling people that they were woke, they convinced them that they had the knowledge so that they wouldn't go out and seek more. It was brilliant. It was a brilliant marketing move. Brilliant. OPM brothers, other people's money. Right on. I'm an American and not a liberal. You sound like it. Oogie wants to ignore Democrat failures. Best live on YouTube. Hands down. Thank you, booty brother. I'm not a troll or a cop. Yeah, that's what a cop and a troll would say. They want to take away our guns. Yeah, that's absolutely crazy. And this is one of the things that they hear going on. So if you listen to like a lot of the YouTubes, the Bloods and the Crips podcasts and whatnot, they're talking about this. Like, so the DSC, the Democrat Socialists, DSA, they want to take guns away. And then there was a conversation about who should they take it away first. Are they going to take the Bloods or the Crips away guns away first? How are they going to choose whose guns to start taking away? And then say they can't take everybody's away the same day, right? I mean, because they would have to hire millions and millions and millions more police, and they want to do the opposite of that. So how do they plan on executing their Super Troopers 3? There you go, Space Cowboy. Ogie knows inflation started by it. Yeah, he knows. Some people are just bots. I never had to do with politics. Minded on both. You vote? No, I'm not voting Democrat. Trump has, I can't, no. Brother, did you look at the Democrats' approval rating as a party, as a whole? And listen, but look at his approval rating in his party, and look how much bigger his party is. Yeah. Politics evidence waits the midterms. Can't wait for the end of the Democrat Party. It seems like it's on its way. Bucky Boo. Ogie is a whiny. Yeah, he's whiny. Inflation started with Trump's tariffs. No, it didn't. You're absolutely wackadoo. You're wackadoo. She had very different accent for reality. Yeah. And now AOC's doing the same thing. You cannot run an economy being as a consumer. Yeah. Nope. Even if the Democrats win the midterms with thin margins. So yeah. We'll see what happens. It really, really doesn't look like it. It really like this is like I've never seen anything go on like what I've seen going on now. Like I said, in the movie industry, we were told every single election, vote blue. You got to save the democracy. Vote blue, vote blue, vote blue. Now they're saying vote your interests. Vote your interests. What are we doing? What are we doing, boss? Vote your interests. What do you mean? Vote your interests. Oh, so that's very weird. It's very weird that all of these unions are now not toting the line. Woke went reverse shaming that Democrat racism. They started a war by bombing kids in Iran to run away from the Epstein files. You think that's what it was? Trump is protecting Obama and the Clintons. The Epstein files are full of Democrats and their lifestyles. Yeah, that's what I think too. I think if you look at how Obama's main lawyer emailed Epstein 14,000 times in the few years after 2009, after Epstein was charged as a sex criminal. So 14,000 emails. Yeah, and that's what I think too. I think he's protecting Obama. Woke is in the early 20th century, Chinese black civil rights issues, also by Scott's Billy Bros. Inadvertently race. Yeah, it seems like it too. Trump's scared of the Epstein files. The Democrats will destroy America. So you think supporting Trump's false narratives makes someone sound like a liberal? I see Trump for what he is in New York City community. Yes, I'm not saying I'm not voting for Trump. I'm not voting for Trump. You keep bringing him up. I'm not voting for Trump. Do you hear me? But I'm not voting Democrat. I'm not voting to open the borders up. Absolutely not. I'm not voting for like, especially what we know about like what Tim Walz did releasing that pedophile, gave him a pardon. He gave him a pardon and said he didn't think of a pedophile as being a danger to the community. That's crazy talk. Scott Wiener, that's crazy talk. Trying to allow sex with minors to be okay with just from like 21 to 14. That's crazy talk. Oh, not protecting the border is crazy talk. Oh, guys, I understand that politicians are fiscally irresponsible. I've known this my entire life. I've known this, absolutely. But so if I've got to deal with being robbed, at least I want to be robbed from an American. Yeah, I don't want the border open. It's that simple. Stealing old black turds, turning them into gay bullshit. Democrats think Trump's terrorists are kicking it overnight. Yeah, they don't know what they're talking about. Democrats destroyed the economy. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. The Republicans, even when they haven't had power like this in the recent years. So all of this trash, and then you look at what happened during COVID. The reason for the inflation is what happened during COVID, especially during the lockdowns and the mandates, and all of that wackadoo. And hearing what if you get a minute, you should look through freaking Fauci's diary. Yeah, so the tariffs are a great thing. Why are they a great thing? The other countries already had tariffs against us. They wouldn't buy our products, or they made it prohibitively expensive for their citizens to buy our products. So now their match, which caused them to be lowered, and then they started buying our products. So now we're shipping more products overseas. Democrats also used a term coined years ago called reverse psychology of racism. Epstein hated Trump and worked around the Gate. Yeah, that's what I saw too. Donald Trump is the greatest man in American history, possibly the world. Nobody has been put through what they put him through and survived. How he saved America from demon rats. Notice that Democrats will live in a safe haven bubble of culture and mix the place. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. And they've absolutely gone way too far. Seeing how especially like gay marriage and stuff. Who's the last two presidents and vice presidents to talk about getting rid of gay marriage? That was Obama and Biden, right? And there's gays for Trump, right? The Republican Party has been more liberalized, so it's added a glow to the Republican Party that it didn't previously have. The Republican Party has been opened up to more classic liberals. Can you judge? You think you can judge a book by its cover? Because in time, but the popular thinking disagrees. It's all brainwashing. Reverse psychology racism. Tariffs only good when it's against America. Right, yeah. It's a health tip for today. Health tip for today is, listen, do at least 20 seconds of full out running every day. What I do, I go to my front door and I pick a point. It's usually like 2 light poles away, and I just run full out as fast as I can go until I count to 10. And I stop, take a couple deep breaths, and then I run right back to my door. That's something to do to just start getting like a full out pass. And tell you what, do it in the morning, even when you feel tired. It does very good things for you. Why did Democrats not realize our country had massive tariffs for years? Yeah, right. They don't know that. Democrats have hard to sell their aid to other low RNC at $1 billion to play with, right? Not wackadoo. I'm businessmen that experience cost increases, building materials. Trump is versus Trump. So, right. Okay, I understood. But then you also had those issues during the Biden administration when we couldn't get materials. I was in the movie industry building sets. We had to go through all kinds of hoops to get stuff because we couldn't get. Do you remember all of the boats off the coast of California that had to wait to dock in and to unload? Do you not remember any of that? Democrats are broke. Yes, they're still 2 million in debt. And listen, do you know who did not donate to the Democrats this time? George Soros. George Soros hasn't donated any money to the Democrats. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. He would have already donated at least $1 million for the midterms. He hasn't donated any money yet. That's crazy. It's crazy. None of the whales are donating to the Democrats. What Mondami did, releasing the names of almost 1 million wealthy people, second homeowners in New York, he doxed them. He doxed 900,000 people, wealthy people. Stop ordering Trump turned Epstein files to the FBI. Right. And this is the thing that pisses me off about the Epstein files. Why didn't the Democrats release it? If Trump was in the Epstein files doing bad stuff, then they could have just released it and trashed. Trump would have never made it to office. But they didn't do that. So then when the Trump administration got a hold of the files, if Trump was in them, did they remove it? Well, we'll never know, because what we have now is all we have. So it's like it's the Democrats' fault for not releasing them. Absolutely. So you don't have to import waste. General Dynamics Ordnance Tactical Waste was awarded $464 million 2 years ago. To date, they have not made one single projectile shell of Mesquite, Texas. General Dynamics Ordnance Tactical Systems. George, which presidency with the building values going down? Right. Yeah, I'll take a count. Always glad it's almost Sunday, brother. Trump stays in the Epstein files 38,000 times. It's far more than any of the name combined. I guess, yeah, I'm guessing you haven't looked at them, but I know you said that before. I just said my thing there, so I think you get it now. It's the reason what predator files were released by creepy Joe Biden, right? We must protect all pedos at the cost of society face. Right. Okay. So I'm guessing you said this also before I said what I said about Scott Wiener and about a few swing states away from being our vice president, Tim Walz, pardoned a pedophile to try to illegal alien pedophile to let him say, it's not working. It's not working. Absolutely. You're not a businessman. You're just another fool with TDS. Yeah, so it seems like you want to throw yourself away to make your business look bad and then blame it on Trump, or your business is doing bad. You want to blame it on Trump. Trump hating trying to act like lumber wasn't sky high and Biden. Right. I was in the industry. I absolutely knew we had an absolute shortage. Yeah, he didn't like Trump. Why did Trump stay with the Epstein files? Don't leave that part out. Right. The tariffs being paid by American businessmen consumers exports have gone down under Trump. He talked more. Yeah, but yeah, in 9.1. 9.1 is the enemy of the idea. Yeah. But listen, I think when people are happy, they don't realize when they're being fleeced. So when people were happy under Biden, they didn't realize how bad they were being ripped off. And they were like, oh, but there's a worldwide pandemic, so it's okay that everything's going crazy. Well, why is gas prices $5 a gallon and I got to stand in line and there's reduced distribution of petrol? Why is that? Oh, well, the president doesn't affect gas prices. How many times is that said over and over and over? Because Epstein was scared of Trump getting Epstein's emails and texts. See how much Trump. The 48 laws of power. That was discreet. Of course, Trump, he likes gay. He blew Baba. Keeping your enemies closer to your enemies war part of war. Actually, George Bush started the investigation on Epstein. Right. It was in the late 80s. It was in the late 80s. So why didn't anybody ever release this stuff? Why did it take till 2026? Yeah, that's crazy stuff. Do you right hand zero while screaming? All major exports worldwide have fallen down. Do you ever realize that's oil is shortage? Epstein told Democrats trans kids. Epstein texted Democrats what? Yes, right. While they were in while they were in session, texting frickin' Epstein after he was found guilty. Biden held those ships at sea, wouldn't let them dock. Right. He caused that. He caused that for more irritation of the American people and companies. 99 humans counting. Yeah. Yes, he absolutely did. Yep, they hit it. Absolutely. Yeah, I hear a strange bird at night. Is that my wackadoo? TBI. YCC. So I would constantly call every one of those emails. He did unspeakable things. Yeah. The Democrats, Republicans, the Epstein files. Trump ran his campaign releasing the files. He's released half the files. Right. Understood. Great. Right. But he released 100% more than the Democrats released. Yeah. No. Right. And the JFK files and the freaking a lot of the alien released. Yeah. No. He's done a hell of a lot more. Absolutely. And he set us up for a better future. I have to agree. Now, like I said, I didn't vote for the guy. But I'm not going to lie just because you want me to, or it makes you feel better. It's not clear. There's a recent Australian painter was pissed off. There's gays for Trump. Gays for Trump, yeah. Every time there's a Republican convention, the number of users increase on Grindr. It's gay for Trump. It's doing it. Right. There's a lot of gay Trump supporters, a lot of trans Trump supporters. The problem with the LGBTQ community is that they're not an actual community. They're an organization. And that organization is a Democrat liberal form of that. There's gays for Trump and trans for Trump also. So it's like, and like I said, Biden and Obama both talked about ending gay marriage. Both said the marriage between a man and a woman. So, and Trump was a Democrat back then too. He's only been a Republican since 2016. It's definitely real. Tariffs make it cheaper to do business in America than China. Yeah. All right, it's for a better outlook for us, and like nobody's starving, but there's still people eating. Are poor, are obese. Yeah, everybody's doing fine. There's some people that can't find jobs, especially the jobs they want, but there's a lot of job openings. There's new restaurants opening up around here. And I mean, in blue cities, people are suffering. I agree. I live in Georgia. Things are completely different here than they were in Baltimore. Epstein was put on that island for a long, long time ago. Yeah, I agree. Well, about enemies' intelligence realize I've seen what's different. Two different guys, the goy you talk to. The tariffs are bringing in more money to America than ever seen in a long time. Yeah, apparently they're like $4 billion over what was anticipated, especially looking at him when he was Jewish. What he released is redacted, unprecedented manner. Great. Kick ass, dude. Kick ass. 100% more than what the Democrats released. 100% more. Yeah, the intelligence of signs of worship as well. He was not shot at Doc Holliday. I'll be your Huckleberry. I know Obama eats cube steak. Yeah, which was odd. That he was against gay marriage. Yeah, so the liberalization of the Republican Party has turned it into a party a lot of people want to be a part of, and the Democrat Party is going a way hard left. That's making it very difficult to be part of it, especially, like I said, about opening the borders and the soft on crime approach. People are tired of being taken advantage of. We've all come to the conclusion, the understanding that people are going to get rich in office. We understand that. So what do we get out of it? That's the thing. The Democrats have decided to open the border and get rich. The Republicans decided to close the border and get rich. So at least we've benefited off of that. At least there's they're opening up like truck driving for our veterans instead of the what the it's freaking very distasteful. Why would someone support Trump after starting a war despite running or not starting a war? I think this has veterans more upset than the general public may think. Possibly. I watched some of the Elks Club and Moose Lodge live streams, and they seem to be on. They even the anti-Trump are still, we've got to stop the communists. Like, that's the conversation that's going on in a lot. So yeah, they might not be pro-Trump. Like, I'm not pro-Trump. I might sound it. I'm not pro-Trump. I didn't vote for him, but I'm absolutely not for what the Democrats have to sell. Like as what happened during the Biden administration, they lost my vote. The Democrats have to win it back. They have to come up with a kick-ass idea and some people that are worth voting for. Like the people that they have been putting up, the Nazi tattoo guy, the freaking wackadoo in I can't remember the freaking state. Anyway, apparently they're not vetting the people they want to put up. It's just, oh, you'll say I hate everything that's kick-ass for America. All right, we'll put you up. Yeah, it doesn't seem very good. And I understand that we've got enough money to take care of the poor in America. We could absolutely take a big hit out of the money that's leaving America and putting it for America. And I'm absolutely for that. And we can absolutely help the people that are here without a doubt. There's trillions. How much it was? Let me see if I can find it real quick. Okay, let's see. Go here. Yeah. What's the term for when people send money back overseas? What's that term called? I can't remember what it was. W, brother. Thank you, my friend. George Soros, Alex just donated $102.8 million towards midterm elections. Okay, well, then that was recent. His father, George, says he will also be donating. Okay, so his son did. Okay, so but Alex did. Okay, that's what I heard. That George didn't do anything yet, and he says so that will be a distortion. Okay, we'll see. All right, we'll see. We'll see before, but it's very interesting that he had that George hasn't did that. That was pretty interesting to find out. Pretty interesting to find out for. What up, Ed D? If you was a frog, but you had to snail, only surviving on plant-based diet of being a zombie apocalypse, what bird would you rather not be eaten by? Cucumber. Trump has no obligation to protect America. Trump did not start this. Trust the plan, right? Sorry, Trump's not gonna maniacs when he scold nuke. Yeah, listen. And I can remember when we were scared of Iran. I can remember as Democrats. I can remember that. It was only during the Biden administration that when Kamala and Biden both said when they asked, "Do you have any words for Iran?" They were like, "Don't." It's like freaking Beautiful. Short-sighted conflicts that has gone to Sumerian power and make sure the great-grandchildren still have food to eat. Yeah, we got to, and I think a lot of people feel that same way. A lot of people realize that we've gotten so off kilter as a society, and it's good to see people like there was no Trump hats. I didn't see any Trump hats in 2016, 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18. I mean, none out in public. You'd see people online, and now there's people doing a lot of sporting and a lot of money. Listen, a lot of money has been donated, grassroots stuff, and almost none's been spent so far on the Republican side. Democrats have sided with illegal aliens. Yeah, right. Listen, and and even the when the Democrats just a few days ago set a thing that's a memo that said Democrats, we are a capitalist society, not a socialist one, and only 8 Democrats signed it. The 212 or 204 others did not sign on. That's crazy talk. I'm independent, but I hope you realize red states contribute less to federal government, more red states poor. More red states are poor. The majority of our GDP comes from blue states. I understand that, and that's primarily because California has Silicon Valley, and until recently, you had Washington State had Amazon and Microsoft. But it's not the same. You can say blue states, but it's a few blue states, and that's changing. New York, the financial center of the world, a lot of that, $1 trillion of that capital has left for Florida and Texas. So it is shipping. And then now, when Mandami just put that hit list out, it seems like a lot more people are going to be shifting down to Texas and Florida also. And Texas was setting itself up as the financial center of the South, so the Wall Street of the South. So it looks like things are going to be changing. We'll see. Yeah, I just did that. Okay, Democrats are supporting someone as a Nazi tattoo. Yes, that's freaking nuts. I think this helps China out. Oil needs settling yen. I think that's I think that's absolutely good. And so this is why it's weird. It's interesting to not let hate boil into your eyes, and to read across everything that you can, rather than just saying, "Oh, Trump said something." Oh, freaking Trump. No, what did he say? Why did he say it? Okay, is it bullshit? Cool. Then move along. If not, how does it affect you? How does it affect the country? How does it affect the different industry? Who grows the food, produces energy, manufactures? Yeah, that's red state, right? It's just the profitability of the tech sector is so high. Socialists heavily support scare with me. Cucumber. I got the same thing, brother. Shangri-La. Epstein files will be released. Republicans and Democrats argue who's going to have the rights to the books. Right. Yes. Right. China has 43% of their oil imports. Yeah. Shambhala. China's attacked the world with the old people virus. Nobody did anything. Listen, and there's a part that's not being talked about. I don't know why it's not being talked about. What was going on in Wuhan at the time that the virus leaked or came out of the wet market. Most people don't know this. There was a military Olympics, a worldwide military Olympics that was being done. So you had like 140 countries or some shit that had people in the military Olympics in Wuhan, where it came out of. So you don't think all of these military people flew back to their 100 and some odd host countries, some with that disease? Now, and then you say, okay, well, how did it spread so quickly? That's probably how it spread so quickly. There was a military Olympics in Wuhan, China in 2019. Military Olympics, Wuhan, China. There you go. It came up. Sorry. The 7th CISM World Military Games took place in Wuhan, China, October 18th to 27th, 2019. Buckeyes over the public petro dollar enforcement. Megan Thee Stallion. Mandarian lessons started bullying go away. I can't wait till Mandami stayed in grocery stores for 100. We'll see. Miriam Mount support over 100 million in the pro-Trump super PAC. There's also too much money being spent on both sides. I agree, brother. Listen, I agree. I would love. Listen, I'm gonna run in 6 years. Stay tuned. I think we're going to see a reckoning. believe it or not, I think you're going to see a reckoning. We're going to see a reckoning. I think we're going to see the collapse of the two-party system, and I think we're going to see a very strong third party come up. The Democrats are really soiling their name. Like I said, the movie industry, the industry that I was in, was super pro Democrat. Vote Democrat, save the world, save the world. Republicans are horrible, save the world. And now the line that they're saying is vote your interests. It's very, very interesting. Trump's getting a squeeze on China. Is one of Venezuela just took out first. Yeah, let's switch these up there. Yep, that's right. Yeah, and in a couple other states, the mountains of cheese. We'll look at something else on. The entire industry diary series bullshit. Listen, I think just like what happened in 2001 and 9/11, I think we're going to have a huge patriotic shift. They'll set one up. Gain of functional research is necessary to be prepared for what is adjustable. Falling ice lab leaks not the same as an attack. God forbid. Yeah, I can understand that too. Absolutely. Because if we don't do the work and other countries do, but it's odd that we did this work in China with the Chinese. That's what was very weird. But no, I can understand that. I can absolutely understand that. But it's also odd that the military Olympics was going on at the time at the end of 2019, and then it goes worldwide. COVID spreads worldwide very, very easily. Well, that seems if you send 100 countries, all the people in 100 countries back with some form possibly infected or with the disease, with the virus. An easy way to get it around. They have entire mountains of cheese. Oh, okay. I think I saw that. Yeah. The storage mountains you're talking about. Yeah. Like where all the milk and the cheese goes, the extra milk and cheese. Mountain storage of cheese. Every conflict versus U.S. BRICS nations against the world. Market manipulation. It is illegal, and they're doing it now. All the robots in China said China has killed engineers for Rogue Robot. I had some eggs for dinner. Now I can't stand my own stench. New York City businesses rich will be moving to Florida, Texas. Definitely, it's happening already. And listen, a lot of the wealthy are very upset. Like just 18 months ago. What's his face? The guy, I can't remember the guy's name that shot the healthcare CEO guy in the back. But that just happened not 2 years ago, and now the list of the wealthy in in New York just got doxxed that by their own government. Yeah, we took out Venezuela, South America, put the squeeze on Cuba. So they're amused. Yeah, a lot of things are changing. And if you see how right-wing the rest of the world's going, Denmark, South America, I think it's 5 or 6 left-wing governments lost their elections for the right-wing government just in the past 2 years. A lot of things are changing, and if you see how anti-illegal immigration a lot of other countries are going, like what's going on in South Africa, what's going on in what's that place right up there, Spain, and the tip of North Africa, but like the South Africans, the Zulus from South Africa are kicking out the Ghanaians and the Nigerians and whatnot because they're taking their money. Yeah, we're at number 1 seller of oil. So that's right. Let's see. Bluegrass, let's say, is 11 billion tax money this year. Florida, yes, yeah. It's gained 26 billion. And like Sergey Brin from Google, he sold a bunch of his property at a loss, pennies on the dollar, to get out of New York City. And that's like he didn't even wait to try to see if he can get any money out of it. Yeah, New York City. So does what's it called? Damn it, can't remember the other state. Texas. What's the name of that place in Texas? Flood chemical fires. Okay, let's see. 1.4 billion pounds of cheese. 1.4 billion pounds of cheese. Yeah, it's definitely in trouble. China doesn't need oil like the U.S. They already swapped electric cars and upgraded. They're good. They don't need oil like you think. Listen, they need it for the plastic, absolutely, and they need it for the pharmacy. They do need the oil, but not for what you think. they also still need nuclear set up faster. They do burn a lot of natural gas. They do burn a lot of oil for power production. So yes, they do have electric cars, but the power still needs to be generated. What up, Harry? Sorry. And what way does New York City have Sharia courts? They have this right here, the Muslim Community Patrol, and they have courts in, and that's in New York. So do the Jews, though. I'd say manipulation, yeah. Stabilized dairy prices. Love me some cheese. I'm not complaining. They said market manipulations. Yeah, they say that. They say collapse can't last more than 3 weeks without recovery. Everybody's favorite type of cheese. Impartial towards the rocket government falling apart. COVID was here as 80s disease. It's cow disease. Snake venom vaccine was out of 80s, 90s. Obama. Well, they were saying that they had that data for COVID-19 in 2015, and they said it was started being worked on in 2010. Agriculture, like there was patents and stuff found that you can still find. We've actually looked them up before, where there's patents that go back to 2015 for COVID-19. Market manipulation, such a scale is pretty indicative. This is bullshit. Go to the TCP. My favorite type of cheese one is the idea of New York City is going to see a mass exodus of the wealth is so stupid people don't understand New York City to the low taxes because of anything like that. And I don't think you're paying attention, Harry. Harry, do you understand what's going on? Do you know what just happened the other day with the doxing, the like all the rich people that have second homes in New York City just had their names published on a website, names and addresses by the mayor. And 18 months after a guy shot and killed a CEO for like Donald Trump did not physically eliminate OPEC as aggressive military practices for extraction of cargo. They go to New York City because New York City is the place where they've just set up network. Right, but now so is Texas. Texas has the Wall Street of the South. I love cheese. Vast people, rich people go to New York City for business. They not live in New York City. Right. So what has happened is they listed the names of those rich people that have second homes in New York City in order to basically, they feel that they're having a target painted on their back. And now they don't feel comfortable doing business in New York City because if they show up and go to their homes, people know where they live now. So now they've been, and there are people already in the past 2 days have selling, looking for homes. The real estate market in Florida is going up, and in Texas. If you get bored, listen to the people, New York to Florida real estate, and New York to Texas real estate on YouTube, and you can see hundreds of sellers and the numbers and what's going on of the capital flight. Okay. But wealth migration. New York is seeing a steady shift of money, corporate offices, and high earners moving to Texas. Why businesses move? Lower costs, fewer rules, no state income tax. Faces a shrinking tax base and growing budget. So there's a lot of money, Harry, a lot of money leaving New York for Texas. Oil is yep. Parmesan cheese and nice little nutty element of Gouda. Seaweed is great for zinc, iodine. Yep, I take iodine also. Yep. We gotta get squeaky yellow first. Fresh cheese curds here, so it's a warm union. New York City's published list of people who own second homes in New York City. What's wrong with that? I think I just told you that, so I'm guessing that. No, if they don't like it, they can sell their home and leave. Yeah, that's what they're good. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. Jesus Christ loves you, Cuban. If you're wealthy and anonymous from Miami crop owners, your property, how long is the release list? I think it was 900,000 people. Or no, it couldn't have been that many. Let's say let's say on list of second home Let's see. Let's see. New York Post. Yeah, and look at that freaking face, dude. Like, he knows what he's doing. And see if it says how many people it was. Covers all people that that worth north of $1 million. But how many was it? Yeah, that's so crazy. Unsurprising. What is surprising is the shot 960,000 people. 960,000 people. New York City, they're paying up to 79%. Yeah, it's crazy. It's going crazy. They've made a lot of changes. And then it's scaring people off. Who went to second home? 960,000 people. Kid killed by his cheesy parrots. Cheese. Blessed be the cheesemakers. Food abundance not automatically food security. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Not obviously sorry. I still have to have calories hungry people first. That's true. Do fish smoke seaweed? The type of abundance achieved the lobbyist incentives in the 70s. There's a census purple, like your license plate. What up, Dr. Waiter? Earliest Christian temples, burnt coffers, test positive for THC. Google's Yazoo Cheese Factory. Google's Yazoo Cheese Factory murder. Yeah, so if 1 million high earners that earn over $1 million end up leaving, or 960,000 end up leaving New York, the police got doxxed in the UK. It's an religion of hackers. Wow, it's not a good idea. Listen, that shouldn't be happening. All right, what am I looking for? Is this it?
Here, the defendant was somewhat reclusive. His behavior was getting stranger in the days and months leading up to the crimes. The court must consider the viciousness or aggravated nature of the crime. Here it was extremely vicious. It was attacking.
Yeah, I don't think you understand how it works, Harry. They don't call the cops. When people in their own community get into trouble, they don't call 911. They call their own people that will grab their people, and then their people will go into their own courts with their people, and then they decide under their laws how to handle that. If they have to, at the end of all that, they can turn these people over for actual legal prosecution, but they handle a lot of the law breaking in their own. If the New York City finds out about it, then they can take control, but they're handling a lot of that stuff, especially domestic violence, divorce, and marriage, all in their own. It's not just criminal. Yeah, I just don't think you understand what's going on. Got to show ID at the coffee shop. Yep, I saw that too. All right.
Victims, while they slept in their beds in a most vulnerable state.
Is this it? Completely start in 2010. No, it's not right. You don't care about the cheese. What up, Snuffles? Sounds like I personally that's MVP of Red Citizens from calling the police. It doesn't stop them, but they don't. Like, a lot of them don't. They keep it in their community because they'll be ostracized. The Jews do it too. The Jews have a parallel society. They have a Jewish police force type thing too. And they handle a lot of that stuff inside of their own nation. If someone's a murderer or something, then they'll let the New York City police handle it. But for any other stuff like domestic violence and other stuff like that is handled, if they can keep it in their community, they keep people out of the system. Yeah, hot take, MAGA is the type of people who celebrate JFK's death. You think? MAGA is, listen, the only people I see celebrating death are on the left. Yeah, like the people that make dances and stuff about Charlie Kirk. I disagree, MAGA. I disagree. Cheese markets have been volatile. 10 miles from U.S. Blue cheese. We kept the other cheese. I don't converse with want to argue. Clearly, all you want is argue. Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, that's what when you only have half of the story and you think you're right. Yeah, typically it just sounds like arguing. Yeah. Is this the freaking cheese thing?
Court must also consider the...
I don't think this is what I'm supposed to be looking up. Ziatu Cheese Factory murder. Cheese Factory in Ziatu. Oh, no, that is him. Sorry, that is it. Okay, it says that.
The defendant was somewhat reclusive. His behavior was getting stranger in the days and months leading up to the crimes. Court must consider the...
My great grating the cheese. I know a lot of MAGA, and never did I see one claiming that. So you're so bullshit. Yeah. I've never. I don't know a whole lot of MAGA people, but I do get online, and I haven't seen anybody celebrating death, especially as much as like the Charlie Kirk stuff. Like people celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, like dressing up like Charlie Kirk, wearing like the Freedom shirt and then putting like red paint on their neck, fake blood and stuff like that. Yeah, like I haven't seen anybody do that on the MAGA side. I mean, if you want to be honest, if you just want to promote your side, then say what you want. But it's a great. What up, Wyatt? If Lindsey Graham was here today, he'd cheer for the death. Oh, warmonger. It sounds like a good time to sell cheese insurance. I think the right side celebrates ice, but it's times close to celebrating death. Maybe. I mean, I guess close, but still ain't the same. When cheese market comes from bubble, the point is here, anybody manipulated by the degree of the government using your tax dollars, the same principle applies. Right, they're getting rich. MAGA said rip to Jimmy Carter. Don't like him, but still showed respect now. That's crazy, man. People are discussing. Yeah, dude, listen, and that turned a lot of people like the Democrats trying to cast a wide net ended up grabbing people that shouldn't have been popularized on like, listen, and at least the wackadoos in the like, even if you want to say the American Front guys are far right, at least you've got the government, like the MAGA guys saying they do not support that shit. And you don't see that. Like you hear people on the left saying Charlie Kirk deserved, even people in positions of power saying, well, his rhetoric was inflammatory. Your rhetoric is inflammatory. You can't blame Nazis and stuff. That's what I tell accidentally social death. Bags celebrate JFK's death. Yeah. Instead of internet, we should have given idea. Instead of internet, we should have given idea plumbing. So people within religious communities are going to be religious arbitration panels or religious courts call them so the best of their ability to deal with their religious side of their religious rules. If that's what you want to call it, sure. But also rapes and stuff are getting away, like are staying in, and they can be duplicitous. The problem is, are you going to follow the laws of the land or not? That's it, Harry. In India. Yeah. So if people in their community break state or federal law and they don't turn them in, they just say, give me 5 Hail Marys or whatever, that ain't kick ass. Because that's when you have people that end up feeling entitled to commit crimes, especially sexually crimes or violent crimes. And then they end up killing somebody. Yeah, it's not a kick-ass way to know to do things. I swear liberals sit around each other telling those lies. I think that's the case too. And I lived it. I mean, they just, if you think Fox or CNN lies and you like Fox or CNN on the opposite side, then you have to admit that that you believe the news can lie. And why would you believe your news source compared to the other one? Because one lies. Because one other one told you that. Right. And so they hear something, a lie from a pundit or somebody, and then they just repeat it over and over and over again. It happens on both sides. But the problem is, I don't consider Kraft slice cheese flavor plastic. Do you realize the Christian's faith is one of the biggest things doing in the largest Christian church in the world is Catholic Church? Yes, I do understand that. And the American legal system is based off of that. I absolutely understand that. But I think you're trying to steer away from the point. The point that we were making is that they have a separate system that does not get counted. They do not want to, the criminals that if they don't consider them criminals and they catch these criminals, they let them go into their own neighborhoods. But it's not like they're behind freaking bars or behind fences. So these people can still, if they're violent and they could be picked up one sooner, that should absolutely happen by the system we all live under. No, because what if it's morally different? What if it's morally different? What if it's something that's legal or okay in their culture, but not legal in America? And then they don't consider that. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. No, it's not the way it works, brother. Lindsey Graham had a little sugar in his tank. If JFK were reborn mega, would hate his views if politics don't condone to celebrate anyone's death, including Charlie Kirk, Lindsey Graham, Charlie Kirk. And I do not condone. Yeah, I do not absolutely either. Just saying. Just because DHS lost track of the Iranian and Chinese intelligence assets, that's big up families. Oh, that's avoiding poverty. I understand that too, brother. Listen. I absolutely understand that. But the same thing happened during the Obama administration. Bush let in a bunch of people. Obama deported 3.8. Obama built the cages. The Obama administration built the cages at the border wall that when finally filmed were blamed on Trump administration, right? So it happens cyclically. They let a shitload of people in, and then half of them get deported, and the half that don't get deported end up staying. And some will get amnesty and some will not. It's the same freaking cycle. You can't. No, absolutely not. They still have a celestial courts, still have a country and the government. Okay, so we're liberal. So we're good then, right? We're good. No one said anything about it. They said that they exist, and you said they don't, and I showed you that they exist. So you understand that they exist, right? Yes. So we were correct. They exist. Dude, Trump is literally a Democrat. Yeah, that's what I'd say too. If I'm far left, right. Support legal immigrations. You guys don't appreciate the fresh cut cheese curds. They can never have poverty back in their own country. Cheese curd 60 years old inside of a mountain. It's a whole wackadoo. I don't agree with murder or war. I don't see the difference. It's the same thing. Both sides are enforcing your will upon another. Yeah, well, I can see partial parts of each of it. Like if like Iran in particular, they were protesting. The Iranian people were protesting because they were running out of water, and their own government killed 52,000 14 to 24-year-olds with machine guns to the face and chest. You know, I mean, and then if you think about it from another government's point of view, you know that they're not kick-ass people, and you know, all of them are in at one place. You should have 100,000. But I agree, Snuffles, brother. They got lucky, even if they got graves. Why just buy? That's a nice thought. Until you push about that. Other covers near my house, they try to fry cars. They're pretty good. All illegals doesn't mean you need to murder them. No, I agree. Muslims hold their own court. This is how you get honor killings for people. Right. That's a big problem too. Right. Because in Sharia, there can be death for apostasy. So if they leave Islam, they can be killed. If the girl gets caught with a boyfriend, she can be killed. And the problem is, at least you've got rules that were built over 250 years in America, determining what can be used, what punishment can be adjudicated, or which punishment can be used against which crime. And that's one that has many crimes that we don't see as you should die for, that they do. I think Bentley said, I swear Texas speech makes me look illiterate. I hate you. Ironic. Yep. Democrats literally call JFK Hitler. Yeah. Jalapeno cheese. Anyway, try to multi-stream if you want to increase your... Oh, right. So actually I am. This is going to be my last vertical stream starting... Oh, I'm sorry. What's today? Tuesday. No, this week. So Friday will be my last vertical stream, and then I'm going... So YouTube actually has a new option. It used to be where if I stream horizontal, it would just cut the middle out and put it on the shorts feed. But now I can send both what I want the horizontal and the vertical to look like. So I'm going to start doing that this weekend. But thank you there, Maya. Guess when Rican stickers go up with the curves. Vermin Supreme 2028. fried cheese curds. If you want a good American cheese, go to Cooper Sharp. Doesn't have that yellow number 5. I need don't jump to murder. Maybe start with diplomacy. Yeah, I'm. What? Come on. They're not diplomatic. They're not diplomatic. They just lie. And look, we've known this. We know this. Obama tried diplomacy to get them to not to enrich their nuclear stockpile, and they took that money. We sent what $1.4 billion in actual cash on the back of a C-17 to Iran, and they used that money to upgrade their equipment and buy more centrifuges. So that what we tried with diplomacy didn't work. Look, this was bound to happen. If you're old enough, you understand that Iran, since 47 years, has been kind of wackadoo. And like a lot of Iranians will come into the chat, and I would say out of probably the last 20 that I've talked to, 2 of them say screw Trump, and the rest of them are like, God bless, please hurry, please hurry. All illegals need to be deported. All domestic protesters need to be jailed. Listen, I think this flock camera thing is going to have a lot to do with following where people come from and when they leave protests back to like their homes and whatnot. I'll take a Mambo number 5. It's all good. Lock them up. 2 wrongs make a right. I'd be king. Americans have their own courts. They be called lynch mobs. There used to be. Yep. America is for justice compared to other nations. Yep. Well, pretty good. Richard, you go in the street, start streaming while I'm laying down. I'm confused. 2,900 cheese factories in Wisconsin, 350 breweries, 300. Enviro Pro. Mel to the lads on justice is 100 times better. 100 guilty men go free than 1 innocent suffer. I agree. What do you think the answer regarding Iran? You can't kill an ideology. No, but it's not the ideology of the people. Like even if you look at they have their door-to-door censuses that asks people in Iran like what religion they are and what like their wackadoo is and whatnot. And but when digitally asked, it's severely different. And when they get online, there's like, no, it's freaking different here. They won't let us be. And it used to be different. They voted their king 48 years ago. Their king, the Persian king, he had a huge multi-hundred million dollar party, and had like a bunch of people from the world come around, and there was like a heat wave and what going through, and they had air conditioning and champagne, all this government money spent to have this huge party. A lot of the Iranians were very pissed off at the king. This is when the Ayatollah came in and said, hey, vote for me. We'll take this oil wealth and we'll distribute it amongst everybody. We'll seize the means of production and everyone will get rich. And they did the same thing that Venezuela did. They came in, they voted in socialism, and then they got this. And the same thing happened in Venezuela. You can vote your way into it. You can't vote your way out of it. Going to be doing vertical and horizontal streams because I'm always on my phone and commenting in the videos. Yeah. It'll be they'll be both. Yep. And the chats will be blended. Yeah. So it'll be automatic. We don't have a justice system. We have a judicial system. Yeah. Penal. The nation probably locks people up for speed. Seriously, we should have a scale out of illegals, keep it good, and deport the Democrats in their place. What up, Talek? JFK truly dislike Israel. Oh, gotcha. See Russian video. See Russian government seeing the direct B-52 discipline. Read the biography of the Dulles brothers. New game, but instead of offshore covert actions. What makes American courts so unfair? It's pretty much the fairest you can get in the world. It's easier for me to use my phone for streams. No, it'll be the same. You'll still be able. I mean, either if it's this way or you turn your phone sideways, it'll still be. But they have the choice to do either. Mr. Blue Sky. Please tell us why you took so long. They should be get rid of the entirely Iranian government. They'll keep absolutely trying to get it. Yeah, it's pretty obvious. Let me see. ELO, electric light orange. The U.S. Israel did things 2003 to Iraq. How did that turn out? Yeah, well, I mean, it turned out with freaking Iraq. I mean, yeah, they're doing. Iraq's doing pretty good now, for the most part. Iraq's doing much better. And they're trading with people. Iran was about to have a nuclear bomb, and they're running out of water. That needs to be managed correctly. They mismanaged 60% of their water, and they're running out. Like to the point, like I said, that they were having mass protests in the street before Israel and the United States attacked. They were killing tens of thousands. 52,000 was the number, but I think I think like 20,000 of those happened after the war started. What's the best cheese? I don't know. Freaking Gouda, because it's Gouda. Sometimes pants probably can't tie with Robin Williams, the land of the free. Iraq war is about getting Earl into the pipeline. Yeah, and I think forcing those other nations to build a bypass pipeline, I think that's going to force people into it. Probably 7% of them smoking weed, doing drugs on probation. Diddy liked an oily pipeline. I like JFK more and more every day. He said, look at Joe Kent's story. See how Iran diplomacy was messed up across the past months. Joe Kent? Okay. I have voiceover on my phone, so it's easier. I'm visually impaired. No, it'll still be on the phone. Yeah, it'll still be on the phone. Samson. From under cheese. From under. So for 20 years now, we were never in development. So for 20 years, Iran never were in development of any nuclear arms. It took this long. So they have an armada. So for 20 years, Iran never or in any developed nuclear arms. Right. So we have a lot of spies everywhere. Well, this is why America. One of the reasons America is so entrenched with Israel. Israeli Arabs look like other Arabs, so they're spies in all of these other governments. Obviously, you can't have a freaking me walk in. Hey guys, hey, Alhamdulillah, where's the secrets at? You know, so all of these other nations, you have people embedded in their governments and their versions of the CIA, their intelligence agencies. Well, you just can't throw an American to try to sneak an American in there and be like, I'm one of you guys. And this information got to the point, got back that this is where they were at. Okay, they're almost there with their nuclear enrichment, and they're killing their own people because of the water shortages. So maybe now or never. Look, I'm not saying it's kick ass. I'm saying it was bound to happen. JFK gave speeches that moved people's hearts to this day. He was a precursor to Trump. Why can't we send our prisoners to other country? Sam says, F Biden. You couldn't make prisoners couldn't you have the prisoners make the cheese from under your balls? JFK gave a speech called "The Secret Societies of America." I remember that. I mean, I wasn't alive, but I remember watching it. Yeah, fun back class, Mr. George. No good operator. It's just business. He stated they were redundant to a free society. Issues before Iran stopped the try. They have the Stuxnet. I remember that. Yep. Gave them missile production. Yeah, right. And they were trading them missile production and drone manufacturing capabilities and setting up warehouses in trade for oil. Just so everybody will start streaming vertical, horizontal. People coming to horizontal stream, just go to his YouTube page, hit live to see the other vertical stream. Bam. Thank you, brother. Good. I haven't done a test run yet, so I don't know how it'll work. Prison made cheese would be so good. Cheese market. Let's go. Where other government cheese came from? Yes, Tyler still speaks one of the best. I don't get how a country no bigger than New Jersey has control of the U.S. I mean, I don't know. I don't know either. If you don't know, I don't know. But I was telling you why we're such buddies. Because we don't have a relationship with any other Arab-looking, Middle Eastern-looking people except for Israel. So if we want, just like those guys, they have their spies here, we have our spies there, but you can't have a bunch of, like a white guy or a black guy, American, trying to work their way into the upper echelons of Saudi Arabian or freaking Qatarian government and whatnot, but you can have people that just look like them from Israel. Like there's Israeli Arabs. Yeah, that's why Iran was going to build so many missiles they could build nukes to be stopped. Yeah, I watched an interview with one of the guys that works that designs and builds weapon systems. And he was saying that given another couple of months of production, and they would have had so many surface-to-air missiles and stuff set up that it would have been a much bigger loss of life. And they were building for it. You're only going to hold on for so long. Britain sent their prisoners to Australia. Yeah, right. Australia was a penal colony. One of Putin's conditions for supplying aid to Iran was verbal agreement not to build a nuclear weapon. But we know for sure that do you know what Taikia is? It's a term that they use which basically means you're allowed to lie when it's somebody that's not in your same sect. So because Putin and Russia, they're not that sect of Islam. They're not Islamic, so they can use taikia under their religion, their form of their religion, to lie to people. This is what they're also doing with America. Oh, we promise if you give us $1 billion, we won't enrich nuclear material. We promise, and then they do it anyway. Dude will be in jail for the rest of his life. Government cheese came from Drexel stash house. That's where they come from. Duh. This missile production capabilities, we had to go in. Yeah, listen. Absolutely. How heavily guarded is this $1 billion worth of cheese? Let's look. Let's look. Let's look. Let's look. All right. It's a converted underground limestone mine in Springfield, Missouri. It's kept at 36 degrees Fahrenheit. Stockpile from the 20th century government dairy price supports, now largely managed by private food logistics. They probably got freaking missiles. Everyone is just like stream. I can't do the being here. Thank you, brother. See how Iranian cheese production like. America had the enemy's middle Israel came along. We need to hook up with Egypt. Yeah. I mean, but when you have think about the guys that were 16 years old that are 40 years old now, so 20 freaking 4 years of being trained in spycraft, and and then going over there at 30 and muzzling in with a freaking starting a little bakery, and then coming up and then getting into power, and then getting trying to get picked to go into government, and slowly working your way through for 10 years, getting to be known as the little kid down the street, and then you're fully trusted, and you're in depths. I mean, spycraft is pretty wackadoo stuff. Can we stop talking about cheese? I have to keep going to my fridge and grabbing a string cheese. We had some battles in the Middle East, World War I and II. Russians and British were fighting over it back then. Yeah, none of this is new. Iran can simply have a nuke. Right. And the thing is, even if they didn't have a nuke, they could have put their highly enriched yellow cake and uranium highly enriched just into the heads of missiles to dirty bomb, to scatter shot. It would have been bad. MI6 is aiding British banking interests to control U.S. petroleum. The Orient. The Ottoman Empire based out of Turkey. Bosnia and SS was as Arab Muslim, those Croatian divisions. Yeah. Listen, this is just the way it works. America's very first war against Muslim Middle East is Africa. I've not heard of anyone called the Orient. It's 1981. Bosnia still have Muslims. Look at this weird. Egypt was overran by the Muslim Brotherhood. Yeah, so yeah, and listen, like most people don't know anything about Islam or the multiple sects of Islam or how it works, and they think that Muslims are Muslims, and that's just not the truth. So you have very violent Muslims like the Iranian leadership, and then you have the Muslims around them that are a different sect that believe different things on very important parts, and they know that these people are violent, and they want something to be done too, and they're all in communications. Look, we got the internet. Our leaders are talking and deciding, and this was all freaking. As long as nuclear sure destruction holds, I'm not sure why it matters Iran's nuclear capabilities. Because if you have religious fundamentalists or religious zealots that believe that heaven opens up when the United States is destroyed, that's a problem. I feel like it's not me. The world, it's the world that's sick. We're given everything we need to commoditize. Can I not read? Commoditize. We consume and destroy like it's parasitic. Scientific tells us we're looking at extinction. They tell us a lot of things. They also tell us we need to get a freaking. Never mind. There's an entire package called Iran needs to demand nuclear knowledge. Israel stockpile. It's not assuming there's long term name. Zionist swine. The Jew stuff is pushed by China. Yeah, I mean, it worked. It worked freaking in the 30s in Germany. Other people's
Daddy, why would the astronauts been back to the moon?
What?
Astronauts have been to the moon, right? Why?
Dude. You're gonna get me copyrighted again. I ain't watching this shit. Land belongs to the Jews, bub. Islam teaches that Christ returns to fight the Antichrist. What? Christ is not on earth. His tomb is empty, right? And but Islam isn't Islam. There's different sects also of how they believe things should be done. Like it's, for instance, today I was reading about how almost all of the trans surgeries in the world, the second most popular tourist place to get trans surgeries is Iran. Because they don't allow homosexuality. You can be put to death for homosexuality. So one fatwa was allowed to say, if you're gay or if you think you're in the wrong body, you have to be physically medically transitioned into another body in order to stay alive. And that's some crazy stuff. So the number one place in the world, the most transitioning surgeries is done in to Thailand. Number 2 is Iran. It's pretty interesting. If you ever really want to actually look into like what's going on, what the Hitler's grandparents did not know his maternal grandfather. China's actually working. Like some people say it's not been Jewish for there's no reason whatsoever. Christian, Jews, and Muslims have been fighting for 1.5 millennia already. Anyone thinks the fight will ever stop? Nope. The land belongs to living people working on people could believe how the imaginary friends. It wouldn't matter either way. What up, William, brother? So we're just gonna say Palestine wasn't there before Israel. Listen, there was Indians here before Americans. There was different people here before Africans came here, and Spain come to. Things happen, absolutely. But who are you going to kill? And the only really people that want all of Israel destroyed is the Palestinians and the people that fight for the Palestinians. There's also the entire banking system and everything that runs off of, at least from what everybody says, Jews and Israel. So do you think it's okay to just say, okay, Israel go away and then Palestine can take over? I mean, it looks like it's going to need to be a 2-state. I'm no freaking freaking diplomatic brilliant freaking mind, but it seems like, hey, you got people that don't want to die on both sides. And look, still, regardless of what you think, I think we're not hearing what the Palestinian people want. We're hearing what the leaders of Palestine say that their people want. And it's just like in America. If a Democrat leadership's in power, they're telling the world what the American people want. But it's not all the American people. It's half the American people. And then when there's a Republican in power, they're telling the world what the American people want. But it's not all the American people, you know? So this is the problem. You don't get to hear what the Palestinians actually want. You get to hear what the freaking people that are in government want. And that's a different story. China's waged a war with the U.S. Not our Iranian leadership is the extremist side, though. Right. I mean, but the Ayatollah Khomeini was, and he was there for 47 years. I'm sure that bro, some of the banks true at Buckeye gang leadership. China has missile production capable of 5 barrels of oil. What? China have Iran missile production. Okay, both. Don't listen, Buckeye. The views you have don't need to be shushed. Trans cheese not popular. I'm really far behind here. Listen, bro. No, too much. All right, I'm gonna scroll forward here a little bit. All right, what did I miss? Oh, damn it, I'm way far behind. Richard in Thailand, trans do not seek equal rights. They recognize. Yeah, no, I understand. I'm just saying about the. Thank you, brother. Bree. Thank you, my brother. Wow, there you go. Nice shot. Yeah, I understand, Papa Bear. Yeah, I understand. I wasn't talking about the whole political parts of it. I was talking about and for trans surgeries everywhere else in the world, it's like 30, 40, 50, 60, $70,000. Iran, it's government subsidized to be like under 12,000, and you can find transitioning surgery like for $4,500 US. So they make a lot of money. I think it's like $5 billion a year on foreigners coming in for transition surgery. It's Israel with immigrants from Poland and Ukraine. Well, there's also Arabs. There's also Israeli Arabs. Yeah, right. So it's not as cut and dry as that. There's Israeli Muslims. It's not all just Jews in Israel. That's what we're told over and over again, but it's not the truth. It's not the truth. There's Muslims in Israel. There's and there's Jewish Arabs also, and there's Muslim Arabs in Israel. Why does Chinese propaganda align with woke Democrat propaganda? Useful idiots. I tend to think two-state solution is the only way. You chat pull those people out for religious reasons. Yeah. It's not gonna be like, okay, we'll help you kill these people because you think that you own this land. And so much, like you've got millions of people that have been in battle for the bloodlines for a long freaking time. Rome took the land and called it Palestine. A wild Arab tribe fought the Jews and given the land. There's also a difference between all Jews and actual Zionists. Who do you think you are? You're goyim. Do you think the U.S. has an outside relative will overthrow us down? Zionists are lying swine. They brainwash Christians into thinking that they share the same goals. That's a huge lie. Too many people don't research history. Agreed. Too many people do not know their history. You do not learn the history of the world in schools. And there's too many people that think what they learned in school is correct. It's so surface level. It's sick. Netanyahu keeps Hamas around for, he said Palestine is this, sick. Possibly, yeah, might be probably getting rich off of it. Herd numbers are like 90-95. I believe your cattle. Like 90-95, I believe your cattle. Jews were here for like 10,000 years. Palestine didn't come around. China. I said to you, they did the same thing that happened in Spain a couple of days ago. Yeah, I made like 50% of the Jews follow the Talmud. Yeah, I've heard of the opium wars. Absolutely. They're still going on. They're still going on. What do you think heroin and fentanyl is? It's the same freaking thing. It's the same thing. It's just under different shit. Like and I talk about this, the straight wars, but like what they've been doing, it's part of the Chinese like mindset of the powerful. They know if they can get enough foreigners hooked on what they've got to sell, they will have a shit ton of funding. And you got a lot of that shit still. They understand opiates. It's the same freaking game, just much more potent opiates. That takes up much less space. Should we give Dublin back to the Vikings? Israeli? Oh man, I'm really far back. Also acknowledge 23% of Muslims that seem to be bad shit extremists. Right, that's a problem too. Hebrews and you are clear if the world is not Israel. Belgium is making pretty penny from the interest offers. Yeah, listen, and there's people playing both sides of the fence too, right? So it's not as cut and dry as the news it makes it out to be. No, or our own government. There's even people in each party. There's some Democrats that are making money from Israel, and some Republicans are making money from Israel. Some Republicans are making money from the Muslims. Some Democrats. It's all wackadoo. 10,000 Jews were slaughtered in 1939, which is in Israel. I think you got to choose that. Buckeye, you don't know. Okay, I don't know what he's talking about. I know Palestinian Jew. Yeah, so they've got to be able to figure it out. There's all this other infrastructure and stuff. We talk like it's blank land and somebody's running around with a stick saying, I want to draw the line here and you want to draw the line there. No, there's walls and buildings and electrical and water and infrastructure and police forces and armies and all this shit. It's not just like, okay, I'm going to draw the line over here. That's the way it's like talked about. It's way more complex than that. White people didn't evolve in the Middle East. They moved there. I do dork. To push propaganda. Hebrews say mostly converted religions. Give the Americans back first to run the humans that come here. 35 or so people. The rest are invaders and colonizers. Still after the Native Americans. Yeah, and nothing's that simple. It's all and listen. Thanksgiving was a thing. Right, so it's like the Indians and the colonists or colonialists or colonists, whatever the hell you want to call them. They were friends. Things were cool. There was other Indians that wanted to take what was being had there, and then the Indian Wars and stuff started. But there was Indians on the side, and there's very ultra wealthy Indians still in America. It's the leaders that win. The leaders that will work with the people that are taking over. There's a lot of land in America, and there wasn't a lot of people here. Israel's a British deep state project. Jesus was a Jew or rabbi. I've been to about 72. Oh, you've been to death? Freaking, I've been to like 4. I view Israel like a bad member of a crew. He's a real jerk, but we have no choice to back him up. Right. I mean, it's like, listen, a lot of people do not understand spycraft. They do not understand it at all. They think it's just, oh, you just keep freaking playing your video games and keep doing whatever, and I'll go to work. Whatever. No, there's people that want us dead, and there's people that think that their religion is based on if you die, then heaven is available to them. And you have to understand, you have to know information is king. You have to know what they're doing. So you have to have people that look like them and think like them and talk like them to be in and around them to understand what they're talking about. So if they're ready to attack you, you have some, because you have a tax base you need to keep alive. You're currently under investigations for fraud and deflow. Benefited. Fraud he definitely benefited from. Hebrew Middle East, born in Bethlehem, Palestine. Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Jews came back well hours for Louis Farrakhan. Fentanyl into the Appalachians by people of price. China's sticking fentanyl in the Appalachians to kill people. But them sneaky Jews. Drugs have been used for thousands of years to subvert populations. Yes, absolutely. It's the same old trick. It's the same old ball and game. The more things change, the more they stay the same. He was born in that manger in the West Bank, oldest city in Palestine. The synagogue says he bombing his homeland to smithereens. Good stuff. Nice. It's pretty cool. I'm a huge traveler myself in a lot of places, definitely multiple times. I've been to 6 different times going back. Some people say white people are mutant albinos from Africa. That's crazy. Some people say a lot of things. They're crazy. I don't understand a country as powerful as the U.S. should need help from anyone. We're a world power. So I don't. I'm guessing you posted this before I said what I said before. So spies. Absolutely spies. You have to know what's going on in the world around you. You have to know from inside, like what's going on. Like they're not as digitally, and you don't have as much. A lot of the people in the Middle East, in the deserts and whatnot, that are just predominantly online. Remember, even the Hamas and stuff were using analog pagers. That were getting analog signals just to put numbers up and whatnot. So because they wanted to stay off the system. So you weren't tapping into what they were saying. You weren't catching their emails and their text messages and whatnot. So you want people in positions of power or subordinates to people in positions of powers to relay information back to find out that their hems and haws and what they want to do. And that's what's happened. How do you think we found out where all of the leaders were in that bunker to knock out a bunch of them in Iran? Because there were spies there saying, hey, everybody's there, go. And they definitely weren't freaking, it wasn't a white American, and it wasn't a black American, it wasn't a Mexican, it was somebody that looks just like them. Many don't say just a Palestinian Jew born in Bethlehem. Palestinian coming out, yeah. I think you're most Orthodox Christians and Muslims live together with less friction than the Catholics trying to live in Jerusalem. Trey, it's awesome to have China. The Palestinians should be okay with Egypt and Arabia. They deserve a home. Israel wants to bulldoze it away. They fight back. Pretty normal stuff to defend. I mean, yeah, it depends whose side you take. It depends what side you look on, right? The people that are alive think that they should be alive, right? And then you have other people that think they should die, and you're like, well, I want to be alive, and you want to kill me. So then you switch sides, and it feels the same way from both sides. All right, I'm scrolling back now. Here, I'm really far back. All right, where am I? I have no opinion. Honestly, I'm on your side. Scroll. Last time, I was dealing with bullshit of stealing oil. What's wrong with you? The veterans support Iran war. Yeah, it's all right. All right, let's see what's going on here. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what's going on here. Son of a bitch. I'm thinking hard. Get the brain work. We used to be a nice, cute, neutral country. We used to be a very neutral country, right? But, we also are learning a lot more. Like, when you see how many South American countries are now right-wing, that's pretty crazy. And what's being told to us is it was USAID that was keeping the funding there, that was allowing the politicians on the left wing side to stay in power. And as soon as that funding gets cut, almost everybody in South America now is the left wingers have lost power. So were we holding up other countries' political parties that favored whoever was sending the money there? And then when the people finally get to choose for themselves, they choose something completely different. Nobody's asking you. Calm down. Jews killed Americans too, you fool. What up, Raid? Who's ready for the Crusades 2030? It's what it seems like it's getting ready. I'm getting ready, frustrated because of these pleurisy breathing issue. Sometimes I inhale to a certain extent. It hurts. Scares the hell out of me. Honestly, it's nothing major. Jeez. Let's see. Says the inflammation of the tissue layer system commonly triggered by viral, bacterial, respiratory infections, not direct cause of triple negative influence of immune system, low vitamin D, A and C and K. Severe rare deficiencies can manifest as pleurisy. Wow. Do you take any vitamin K2, Johnny? It looks like K2, if you have a deficiency in vitamin K, it can manifest as the pleurisy. That's crazy. It's not a standard cause, but it is wackadoo. Disturbing trend post World War II that might have a political party. Yep. Why were those Americans over there toting around weapons? Why? So remember, we have a lot of our soldiers are, they're, I don't want to say they're for sale. They're for hire, So like there's a lot of Americans that were fighting in the Ukraine that weren't military that weren't military. They were for hired guns. I know the Allies attacked first Russians about 1979. The killing of Soleimani resolved a lot of the Iran issues. I don't even a single veteran happy about the new war. The Gwat folks. America never sees American land. That's right. Sorry again for going off topic. That's all right, brother. No, hey, no, absolutely. I can understand that. No, it's more important than this. You got to keep yourself alive. Absolutely. Let's see here. Let me see what I can find. Let's see about vitamin D here. That sounds. Do you happen to have non-allergic rhinitis by any chance? Does that sound familiar? Non-allergic rhinitis? Yeah, I think I remember those pains in the chest too. Jeez, way back in the day. Wow, I've had it a long time. Yeah, it is scary if you don't. Especially when you get older, you think it's a heart attack. Senseless shedded blood, launder money. Iran starved their people. Yeah, that's true too. Listen, right? This is why, and they weren't even at war yet. They were starving their people, and they were using the water for production. The little bit of water that they had available for production, and for the cooling and whatnot that's needed in the cyclotrons, not cyclotrons. For the uranium enrichment, the freaking wackadoos. Can't remember what they're called, but yeah. So a lot of their water was getting go to use that, and people were freaking dying of dehydration in that heat. And the kids went to the street and they died. They died protesting. And then you see people here burning cities down and getting freaking money for it. Yeah, military contractors. That's what I was looking for. Military contractors. There's over the American area. Yeah. Guerrilla tactics are no match for the USA. You vowed to nuke them. My cousin did that Blackwater. Acts personal decision. Yeah, he's a psychopath. Yeah, a lot of them. Listen. I think a lot of the special forces and Blackwater guys are psychopaths. Like they think of this as a game. Like They think of it as a game, like, and that's what's weird about having psychopaths in power. But a lot of people have to have some sort of freaking psychopathy in order to even run for office these days, because you're going to be ripped to shreds. The problem is, Iran has 700,000 troops. We don't even have 300,000. Yeah, but I would be I do not know, obviously, but sometimes when you have a bunch of people that don't want to be the military of Iran, and when you start seeing that if the leadership switched, you'd probably have a much more powerful nation that wasn't crazy and didn't kill their people. You'd probably have a lot of them lay down their arms, but or they might go completely nuts. We don't know. Jarhead, a warrior. I made $400,000 a year. Yeah, a lot of freaking money, dude. Yep. I mean, you get paid like every hour you're there, even when you're sleeping. That's freaking. IRGC made 500 million a day for all. Yeah, 500 million. That's right. $500 million a day. Yeah, and the problem is what they use the money on. Centrifuge. That's right. Yeah, centrifuges. Yeah. Yes, they use a lot of water for the cooling of their centrifuges, rather than feeding they give them to their people for growth and whatnot. And then their water treatment plants, not their water treatment plant. Well, you can call it a treatment plant, but it's a water desalination equipment. Can't really keep up with that many people, and you can't use salt water for cooling that hardware, because it leaves salt crystals and whatnot not behind, and it's pretty exact chemistry. Well, I do well with my vitamin, eat right, omega, and that. Do you have a top go-to combo for heart sport that you vitamin D, vitamin K2? Vitamin K2 is one of the big things that I always take. So, like, for cardiovascular health, one of the big problems is hardening of the arteries and stuff. Well, that can be helped if you have enough K2 in your system to move the calcium out of the soft tissues into the bones and teeth. That's really important. It's important to know, because most people don't get 100% of any vitamin or mineral every day. Vitamin K2 and cardiovascular health. Vitamin K2 and cardiovascular health. Vitamin K2 I help regulate calcium. Oops, can't read it. Regulate calcium in the body. Specifically activating proteins that prevent calcium buildup in blood vessels and direct it towards the bones instead. Synergy with vitamin D3. It works like D3 absorbs calcium out of the intestines into the bloodstream, while K2 ensures it goes to the skeleton rather than the soft tissue. So that's can often be a big thing. So if you have nerve problems, twitches and stuff like that, it can be because like low potassium or magnesium. And one huge thing is the coating on your nerves, the myelin sheath. You need things like B vitamins, B12 in particularly, to make sure that stuff stays good. All right, let's watch something. You guys got me freaking all freaking whack-a-dude. Yeah. All right, let's watch something here. Boom, boom. No problem, brother. No problem. It's over. Something just happened. Oil is collapsing. Uh-oh. 54 minutes ago. All right, let's see. All right, let's do this. Oh, it's not fair. Oh, jeez, that girl's crazy. The real betrayal. Racists. Wealth transfer. Democrat. What? Democrat candidate got knocked out on a Hawaiian beach. Maybe, I guess, the Hawaiian candidate. Got a whack dude, yeah, brother. All right, let's see if I can find something here. You won't believe this. Full-blown crisis cover-up gets exposed. DNC and full-blown crisis. Uh-oh. And they ain't really a lot of kick-ass stuff. Ain't a lot of kick. Oh, you know what? What's his face at? There he is. Let's do him. Let's go here. Boom. Boom.
One of the
Boom. Come on. Boom. All right. I gotta grab a glass of water. Plants that have no business being real. The most evil crop in history. Oh man, that's pretty cool. All right, sugarcane. All right, I go to the bathroom real quick and get some water.
If you were alive 5,000 years ago, having a sweet tooth wasn't really normal. It was actually extremely rare to meet someone who actually knew what it meant for something to be sweet. To taste something sweet, you would have to find a honeycomb in a hollow tree, or maybe a drop of sap from a maple tree if you lived in the right climate. Sweetness was more short-lived. It was something that you stumbled upon instead of owning. But then someone discovered a grass that could grow more than anything else, even in soil that wasn't good for growing. And that grass was sugarcane. Humans are actually really interesting creatures. We roam the earth, putting things in our mouth just to see what they taste like. People noticed that these stalks of grass were super sweet when you chewed on them, and it's almost human nature to want more. And the early techniques to get more was actually really easy. People would pound or grind sugarcane using stones or wooden tools, kind of like they did with grains. Over generations, this is what led to experiments with boiling the juice to create solid sugar. Sugarcane originated in New Guinea, but the story of it being turned into sugar traces back to ancient India. By 500 BC, farmers had already learned not to just chew the cane, but to crush it and boil it down. I want you guys to imagine what that actually meant. For the first time, sweetness wasn't just for the moment. It could finally be stored for weeks or traded for other crops. At that very point in history, for the first time, flavor became currency. From India, sugar spread westward. In Persia, refiners perfected all new techniques. They found ways to clarify and purify sugar, inventing new methods like filtering and using lime to remove impurities. They mastered the art of crystallization by turning liquid sweetness into solid crystals. By the time of Alexander the Great, travelers were already writing about, and I quote, reeds that make honey without bees. Basically, sugarcane. But it was really in the Islamic Golden Age where sugar went from a luxury to a global commodity. Muslim scholars would teach about the cultivation of sugarcane and how it was crystallized, usually teaching the science of sugarcane in madrasa. They were the colleges of Islamic instructions. As the Islamic Empire expanded, they made the techniques even better. And over hundreds of years, it spread through North Africa.
It was, we'll watch it after this. It was Benny, what's his name? Benny Johnson. I think it was just came out a couple of minutes ago. It's also completely flattened by some of the ways I want to flatten to the ground with some circles. Germany was rebuilt to do right. So we can have a pretty interesting conversation about countries that have been destroyed and rebuilt. Like even like Japan, like completely decimated. A lot of Japan got blown up, especially two cities in particular. But they're back bigger and better. Germany decimated, Poland bigger and better. Like it's not kick ass that all these people die, but some of them come back fighting. Cheers, brother.
Spain and even the Mediterranean. Once sugar was deeply rooted in the Eastern Mediterranean, it awaited yet another leap. During the 12th century, European crusaders took control of key cities like Jerusalem and Tyre. They came face to face with the thriving sugar industry developed by the Muslims. The crusaders were almost desperate to find a sweetener because in Europe, their primary sweetener was honey. And that was kind of a big problem because honey is seasonal. It was almost pretty much rare. You couldn't transport honey too far without it crystallizing or fermenting. So the local Arab scholars taught them about sugar production. They brought sugarcane and barrels of sugar back to medieval Europe. And to a Europe that didn't really know much about sweetness, it was almost unthinkable. In 1200, a pound of sugar was worth more than a pound of gold. Apothecaries, who were early pharmacists, would use sugar as a preservative and help to make medicines taste better. Rich nobles.
Tofu drag the construction, brother. Listen. They did so much. It's so interesting to see how much styrofoam they use. They use styrofoam covered with concrete. Shotcrete it's called, right? So they have foam buildings and they spray them with concrete. But they didn't even use as much concrete as they were supposed to use because they wanted to have as much for multiple buildings. But it's unbelievable how they cut corners there. Like I'm sure it happens here, but if you don't ever get under that thin concrete shell, you don't know what it's built up. That's built up. Japan shouldn't have bombed Pearl Harbor. Yeah, the look all this guts, they're probably rebel Iraq, Afghanistan probably 10 times. Yeah, they listen. There's a huge. This is the thing about Afghanistan and Iraq and stuff. They have lots of poppies, and the world's governments keeps its people in line with well, now methamphetamine, but with cocaine and heroin or opiate products. So they didn't want them to be completely reinvigorated. Yeah, because even the companies, the pharmaceutical companies, still get a lot of their there's areas in Afghanistan that have, because they grow special varieties, not just the Papaver sophronium. They have like a genetically modified to make not just morphine, codeine, and to whatever the T is. That's the one they want the most of. And yeah, and it only grows there real good. So they don't want that to go back to just normal mode. Who turned Gramps into a political junkie? Freaking Biden, by leaving my border open.
Even shaped sugar into castles and sculptures for their feast. But Europe had a problem. Sugarcane doesn't just grow anywhere. It's very sensitive to cold weather and it needs a lot of water. But the European climates were either too wet or too dry at the wrong times for growing sugarcane. So because of that, sugar became a commodity only for the wealthy, which meant it had extremely high trade value. By the 15th century, Europeans stumbled onto something that would shift the trajectory of humanity, the tropical climate of the Caribbean.
The Caribbean.
In places like the Canary Islands, European settlers quickly started establishing plantations, but these plantations needed workers. So Europeans and plantation owners tried to pay laborers for sugarcane work. The problem was no one wanted to do it. It was extremely hard and it was pretty dangerous.
Slaves.
The fields of cane were razor sharp, slicing the skin of workers who cut it. The mills had to run day and night, boiling cane juice before it spoiled. And so they did what any logical human would do.
Slaves.
They shut it down.
Yeah, right.
I'm just joking. They turned to slavery. At first, they started with the native Caribbean people. The problem was they were dying from diseases. Their immune systems weren't adapted to the infectious diseases that the Europeans brought with them. Smallpox, measles. The Europeans wiped out more than 70% of the native populations. And so they turned to West Africa. West Africa had long established and active trademarks with Europe, and they were already engaged in internal slavery. That's what led to the largest forced migration in human history.
Slavery.
Millions of men and women and even...
I'm surprised. I mean, not surprised. You rarely hear that. You don't hear about the internal slavery. So a lot of people think that the Europeans went to Africa and rounded up like lassoed slaves, and no, they were for sale. There were slaves for sale there. And this was well known across the world. Everybody has used slaves from around the world. That was the normal thing to do. Slavery was normal. If you won the war, won the battle, those people were now slaves. It's either that or die. Why watch the slaves? No one talks about how Spaniards conquered the entire continent of the Philippines. In my eyes, nope, they don't. They really don't. Listen, Talik, for some reason, America has to be the world's bad guy. So everything that has something wrong with it has to come about to be American or European, like the UK, like Britain and Americas. And they try to just kind of talk about those types of influences. They don't talk about how the Spaniards were freaking. They pretty much took over the planet, killed a shitload of people, spread their genes. Like the reason there's Spanish people in Mexico is because of the Spaniards going into the Mayan, like you said, the Mayan and the Aztecs. Yeah. People don't know. They're not taught that. They're taught it like in schools today for like the past 25 years. It's America went to Africa, stole the slaves, brought them back here and made them work. And then the slaves fought for their their freedom, and then white people kept their knee on their neck the whole time. That's the freaking story. Yeah, no. And there's still slavery in Africa. There's still tribal slavery in Africa. There's more today than there was during the North Atlantic slave trade.
Children were forced onto ships, many of them never surviving the crossing. But for those who did, it was rough. The life expectancy on a plantation was usually less than a decade, and yet sugar fed Europe's hunger like nothing else ever did. Tea, coffee, and even chocolate, all bitter on their own, became the new daily drinks of Europe once sugar sweetened them. What used to be a privilege of the kings became a cravings of the masses. And it was at that point where sugar became the world's unofficial, most addictive substance. Studies today show that sugar lights up the same reward pathways in the brain as addictive drugs, which meant that the moment humans had sugar, there was no turning back. Sugar practically built empires. Portugal and Spain grew rich off of Brazilian...
Mexicans in Mexico actually hate on the people that resemble Native. Wow. What up, Bernie? Do you think there will be a third party 2028 election? Okay, I don't know about 2028, but 2032, absolutely. I think possibly 2028. I think after the midterms, there's going to be a third party. I think that if going the way that things appear to be going, there's going to be a huge rift in the Democrat Party. And there's going to be the for Israels and the against Israels, and I think that's what they're going to use as the talking point. And you're going to have a huge split, and then the DSA is going to have the Democrat D, and then the remaining sect of the Democrat Party is going to get with some centrists and start a third party. That's what I think's happening. Bro, work per day. Work per day. Work per day's definition of slavery. Well, slavery is you're not allowed to leave. You can't voluntarily change employers. So I mean, not just that, but that's one of the main points. Tony, gotta love that put together dude speaks the truth on any crap. Dakota Christian slaves and the trade of this white Christian British slave traders, slave trade system. Yeah, slave was normal. Slave. That's what happened. That's what you did. There wasn't freaking buses and freaking airplanes and stuff. When you conquered an area, you either killed everybody off or you put them to work. Like, if you guys want to live, you're going to work for the food. You're going to work for the food that you eat. There wasn't grocery stores and shit, it's not the way it worked. Blazarian, Dan Blazarian. Times energy saves. Socialism is the actual answer has been done in no, but the very, very wealthy understand that there will be a company above all of that in order to trade with other countries, and that company will handle all the international trade and make all of the money while the population lives in socialism. Socialism, that's right, communism with lipstick. What up, Cheryl? Socialism seems to never be done correctly. No wonder why. Portugal was probably the biggest slave traders. Koreans put most of their own puppets. Yeah, it was the norm. Absolutely. North Atlantic slave trade was 13 million people, mostly 350 Arab slave trade was 17 million. Right. Well, only 350,000 or 330,000 African slaves came to America, North America. Well, most went to like Brazil, South America, because human greed will never exist. Right. It's part of human nature. Right. It's part of human nature. You're not. And so knowing that it's part of human nature, you have to manage that. So by having a completely socialist communist utopia, there's going to be someone that will lie to the other people in power to get the positions because they're greedy. And then then you'll have people that will also be thinking, if you have multiple people that are greedy, they're like, I don't want him to win, so I'm going to kill him off. I don't want him to get power. I told him what I would do 20 years ago and he'll probably remember it, so I'll kill him off. And it gets all wackadoodle, but yeah, absolutely. What's up, Mud
Britain turned Jamaica and Barbados into sugar islands, their wealth fueling London banks and navies. France turned Saint-Domingue, which is now Haiti, into the richest colony in the world, producing almost half of all the sugar in Europe. But that wealth was sitting on a knife's edge. The enslaved outnumbered their colonizers many times over. In Haiti, people whispered about a revolution. Enslaved workers would risk their lives to meet in secret, planning ways to throw off the French rulers. In 1791, fires lit up the night sky. Plantations burned, and that's that's when the Haitian Revolution had begun. France had sent their troops. Napoleon himself had tried to stop it. But the enslaved were led by Toussaint Louverture, fighting back with the furiosity born of the centuries of suffering. And by 1804, Haiti had declared their independence, becoming the first free black republic in the entire world. And it wasn't just a political victory, it was the sugar's empire cracking under its own weight. The shockwaves were pretty much global. France lost its wealthiest colony. Britain feared rebellion in Jamaica. The United States, watching closely, doubled down on slavery in its own cotton fields. Sugar had given Europe more power than they ever needed, but it also had lit the fuse of revolution. The revolution in Haiti didn't just send shockwaves through politics, it tore through sugar trade itself. France had lost their biggest colony and the world's biggest source of sugar. By the early 1800s, nearly all of Europe's sugar came from British-controlled Caribbean colonies, especially Jamaica and Barbados. But then came the Napoleonic War. Britain's navy dominated the seas, cutting off France and much of continental Europe from overseas trade. And suddenly, sugar, the thing that everyone had grown addicted to, vanished. What used to sweeten tea almost immediately became a luxury again. And that's when Napoleon decided to do something no one expected. He launched a campaign for sugar independence, telling his scientists to find a way to make sugar without relying on it.
So, like oil of today, when that happened, the price of sugar skyrocketed. And the companies, it was now a luxury item, so they charged more for it. And only the super rich could get it, and they would pay more for it. So the sugar, the people in the sugar trade made more money off that, just like they do now with oil and anything that's supply trade. Hebrews actually up here, Egyptian, yeah. Also, Republicans freed the slaves for the demon rats. That's true too. It's also easy to pull over eyes intellectually lazy Americans. Yeah, right. Well, also, I think the reason the term woke was used was because you have people that are intellectually lazy, and by telling them that they're now woke, they think that they have gotten the secret information, the secret sauce, and they stop looking for more. They just think that's it. Oh, I've got what that's the secret. That's why this is the reason the world is the way it is. And they don't look into it more. I'm confused about Jewish heritage. They look completely Caucasian. That's the paintings. We have parties of them saying, a question you should answer yourself.
The tropics. Napoleon had saw it as more than food, it was strategy. In 1747, a German chemist named Andreas Margrave found that red beets had sucrose. It's very similar to what's found in sugarcane. But the sugar concentration in red beets were too low for profitable extraction, so the idea was mostly theoretical. But fast forward a few decades, one of his own students selectively bred beets with a higher sugar content, creating the first true sugar beet strains by the late 1700s. So when Napoleon found this out, he demanded nearly 70,000 acres be planted with these beets, and then he poured money into new factories to process them. It wasn't about sweetening coffee anymore, it was about power and breaking free from Britain's grip on the sugar trade. That one singular
decision. And when did they swap back? It's a bullshit say Jews should have their general parliament. Yeah, that whole switch. So you had, what was it? It was 3 Democrats that switched over to the Republican side, and they called it like the Great Switch or whatever. But that's not really what happened, is it? Because still, the things that the Democrats used back then, and even the lines they used back then, they're still using today. There are Palestinian Jews, they get a place in Zion. Democrats, Yum Butters, Ashkenazi.
Decision changed the sugar industry forever, because even after the wars ended, Europe didn't go back. The infrastructure was built, the beet farms, the factories, the workers who knew how to refine it, and as the industry spread, it eventually crossed the Atlantic. By the late 1800s, the United States started planting sugar beets in its northern states, places that were too cold for sugarcane, and that legacy still stands. Today, more than half of America's sugar, over 50%, comes from beets, a decision made in the chaos of war, reshaping what sweetness meant for the modern world, which meant that by the time peace reached Europe, sugar was no longer something that was just growing in the tropics. It had become a global crop and an unstoppable business.
I have to understand.
The shadow of sugar never really disappeared. Indian and Chinese workers were shipped.
Yeah, they're pushing voter suppression. You don't think that vote harvesting is voter suppression, Mudbutters? I listen. I think you're taking the propaganda a step too far. the voter suppression is using the mail-in ballots and then using human collectors and then throwing away the ones from the people that they don't want to. Yeah, that's kind of dishonest. How much people make sugar of other fruits? The sugar content is too low, crying fish, and you would start to get rot. So like you can't like juice a banana. The sugar in the banana has other whatever compounds that would cause rot faster. It would spoil faster, and you would need a hell of a lot more like bananas and apples and whatnot. And also, there's the profitability in apples and whatnot, and you can grow sugar beets. Lefty said something about a seasonal business. Keep on assuming. I mean, that's I guess you're talking to me. I don't know. So, yep, small. I know you tell me that. Under brothers for controlling disclosure there of Slim GQ. You can do fermentation also. That's what it would start for fermenting. So also you have to have your values. Like, so apple juice is worth more than just sugar cane juice, but sugar cane juice turned into sugar crystals is more valuable than the sugar cane juice. Apple juice can be fermented and sold as alcoholic cider, hard cider. So it's the economy of the fruit itself and fruit and juice itself. So when you have land, you have fertile land, you can decide what the needs of the people are, supply and demand, what you can supply compared to what they demand, and then what you can get out of it. So if you're going to sell beets to sell as beets also, and you can grow more extra for sugar extraction, it's good to go. Frank, bruh. So it's saying so in that answer voter suppression specific means. I mean, Beth Pell's, yeah. But I would say that too. Both parties are guilty. But well, this is what I think should happen. If we're going to vote by mail, then make it more secure. Put the freaking wackadoo. We have on our dollars, on our $100 bills. We have codes. We have freaking serial numbers and anti-fraud technology. Why not just do the same thing with the votes? Why, if everybody's bitching about the votes business so bad, then great, make them as valuable as bills. Make them something that means something. And if it's going to be difficult for women to vote, then hey, you've got 2 years until 2028. How about the Democrats and the Republicans spend a bunch of money to make sure that women have the time to adjust the name on their birth certificates and to get that taken care of before the vote. Like make that happen. They could only do it once, but if they never fix it, they can bitch about it time and time and time and time again. Just fix it. Just fix it. Sugarcane also produced molasses. Molasses turned it around. That's right. Yep. I think it's ridiculous we have unverified voting. Yes. We don't have unified. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's crazy. But we know why that is. We know why that is because obviously the corporations and the government's entities that are setting up long-term deals. Not I just want to get this done in the few years that I'm here. Want to make sure that they can stay in power. And it seems pretty obvious that's what's going on. And now, like, finding these millions of fake IDs that got caught across the border from China for people that can use IDs in voting. So we need to have a better way to distribute the vote. And obviously, voter rolls should be cleaned up. Obviously, so it's like the Democrats are saying, yes, this is voter suppression. People aren't getting their votes, but yes, but shouldn't you make sure that people, like, if Trump's saying that this is a thing and he's going all ask about it, then pass the freaking SAVE Act to let it happen, and then change and fund what needs to be funded to make sure that people can vote properly. Lines in a row, and like right. That's it. Like the people that usually do the mail-in balloting are the people that are out in the freaking boonies, in the wheat fields and the country. It's not the people in the cities that have an issue. How did you register? Sir Reginald is making the same joke. I ain't answered you. The fact that anyone has a right to vote is ridiculous. If I voted, if voting worked, it wouldn't be. It would be illegal. Yeah, that's what it looks like it's gonna happen. My Hito drink the queue. It looks like they're incorporating the voting verification stuff into our military budget. So corporations with power, why MAGA support deregulations would be a good idea. Probably. But the thing that I don't think people understand is for the past 100 years, everybody in power got to do what they wanted with the companies that helped them get to where they wanted to go, right? So you don't think that Trump's just going to be a good kick-ass guy? No, the companies that helped him are going to get help from him, obviously, right? So the best thing we could do is make sure that he didn't buy the vote to get in here to do what he wanted to do, and Biden didn't buy the vote to get in there to do what he wanted to do. What's the best way of doing that? And work on both sides. Yeah, that's going to be freaking crazy too. Apparently, but yeah, that was pretty embarrassing too. How a great amount of health related info. You took a great amount of health related fear away from me. Thank you. I'm glad to help. Glad to help, Johnny, my brother. I think we use zero knowledge proofs of public blockchain to be a public blockchain. Yeah, right. That could be something too. That could be something we could look into also. You know, it's just why like we secure our finances way the hell more than we secure our vote. It just doesn't seem to make any sense. Yeah, I agree too. The SAVE Act is an 80-20 issue. And like 80, more than 88, like 88% of Democrat voters support ID to vote. Like, it's just not stupid. It's people that obviously are wackadoo in government saying, oh, we can't do this, freaking, you know, because they know it. They probably wouldn't be there. Highly doubt Trump bought votes fake. Yeah, I'm just saying it does you know, but if we find out that the vote could have been fake, then we'll never know, you know. So it's just like, well, maybe this would have never happened if they would have buttoned it up first. Yeah, but you're gonna take the cut. When are you going to take us out to the chicken coop again? We can do that tomorrow. Something sad.
To plantations in the Caribbean and even Fiji, people's lives still being consumed in pursuit of that sweetness. And today, sugar is everywhere. Soda cans, ketchup bottles, cereals marketed to children. What was once rare is now almost unavoidable. Sugar gave us the power to make sweetness permanent, but in return, it demanded generations of labor, lives, and landscapes. Sugar is an empire, it's an addiction, and rebellion, all crystallized into something we barely notice as it dissolves in our tea. And maybe that's the strangest part. We taste sugar every day, but we rarely taste its story.
And that's insane.
Which is
insane.
Pretty insane.
All right, everybody. We're going to go ahead and call it a night here. I appreciate y'all all freaking hanging out with me. Hit the like button on the way out. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I appreciate y'all being here. See you guys.